Edmonton Sports Talk. My God, I loved it.
My name's Jay Milne. #Blue.
Our sports update deliverer, the Coon.
I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up today. You know what, Reid? You might be honest.
All right, here's what's going on in the nest.
It's 3 o'clock and it's time to rock. Woo! 3 p.m. is the usual time for rocking and rolling, is it not?
Always.
Gonna rock and roll all night. Gonna rock and roll tonight. How's it going, everybody? I'm Reid Wilkins. He's Jason Milne, Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. How are you doing, buddy?
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm great. I just feel like I'm sitting in the company of greatness.
What you just now started feeling that way?
Yes. Just now. I mean, what you've accomplished today on the readathon is
not really a readathon.
It's impressive.
I think I got a sneeze.
Well, I think during the summer shows that we talked about
my body's rejecting my transplanted nose.
Well, it's rejecting the readathon. It ain't easy, bud.
I think if it was actually a readathon, I would do 12 hours straight.
Yes.
I would do every show front to back.
Yep.
I mean, maybe I'd be allowed 5 minutes, an hour off.
Nope.
To eat or
we'd bring the food to
perform my toilet.
You could eat right here in the middle.
That's disgusting. You've seen how crummy I am.
We'd put a canteen underneath your seat.
A spittoon?
For obvious reasons.
A spittoon?
Yes.
That'd be great.
And you're in here, buddy.
Yes. So I have now appeared on every show on this station today. I was on the Nielsen show for about 15 minutes. I was on the Hangout for the full show. And then I was on the what's it called? The Lockjaw?
Yes.
The Lockjaw. For about 5 minutes. And I was on Two Guys on a Goalie for about 10. And I was on Hernan and EST Afternoons with Hernan and Gager for about 10. Now I'm going to do this show until 5:55. So, pretty good.
Are you tired?
I'm a little tired, but not because of that. Just because I can't. Not
because of what?
Not because of doing the readathon.
Thank you.
Okay, so here's the thing. If I'm on air late, I can't just go to bed after. And maybe even though I'm not hosting the post-game show anymore, you know, I was on and I got to be involved and energetic. Hopefully I come across that way. So then I can't, like, when I don't know how late I was on with Tom, maybe a little bit after midnight.
Yes.
How late was I on, Hernan? Or was it? No, I was done.
No, you were done by like 11:45.
Yeah, okay.
11:50.
But then I can't, I'm still up and thinking and stuff.
Well, you're engaged.
So I don't force myself. I don't go to bed if I know I'm not going to fall asleep right away. So I do stay up for a little bit, but I probably didn't fall asleep till 1:30. So I probably got a little less than 6 hours of sleep, which for Dustin is normal. For me, it's unusual. So I feel a little off today, but generally I'm fine. It's no big deal.
Dustin is a machine. I mean, what he does. I mean, he was sitting around talking with us, and both of you and I were kind of felt, I think, a little bad. Like, go get your nap in, man. The kids are at school.
Yeah, you can't really complain about being tired. And I'm not complaining. You just asked me how I'm feeling, so I'm telling you how it is. But it's good. I mean, I love working here.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
groovy gig.
I come in and I just do stuff and I hang out and I talk to people who have become friends and we talk a lot of hockey and we get ready for our show. I have started writing AI songs, which we're not going to play on the air. Maybe someday. I wrote a love song about Matthew Iwanek, not from my point of view, from a female point of view.
Of course.
And I wrote a rock song called When We Go.
It was impressive.
It's pretty impressive. AI music. I don't know. Some people think AI is evil. It could be. All right. We are off and running on the show. The Oilers are not off and running in their series with the Los Angeles Kings. The Kings have done all the sprinting, and they lead at 2-0. So travel day today. We will get to some comments from Chris Knobloch, from Brett Kulak, and from Jim Hiller, the head coach of the Kings, as we move along throughout the afternoon. I want to let you know in about 25 minutes, at the bottom of the hour, at 3:30 Mountain, what would that be? 1,530 hours. At 15:30, The new commissioner of the CFL, Stewart Johnston, will join us.
Yes.
Brand new commish. So Jay and I are happy to talk to him and see what direction he wants to take the Canadian Football League. One of us will ask, probably Jay, because he'll be able to word it better. He will ask Dustin's requested question about CFL. See, I don't even know how to phrase it. CFL season-long fantasy?
Well, it's CFL fantasy. I mean, everybody plays fantasy football now, but it's mostly available in the NFL. The CFL does game-to-game, week-to-week fantasy.
Okay.
But this needs to be done. This needs
is
to be
different.
done properly. So, yeah, we'll be
So
talking
we will
about
have that. I mean, it's a big day for the CFL. A large focus of the show will be Oilers and Stanley Cup playoffs related. But thanks to Dustin, an opportunity to interview the commissioner on the day he's formally announced in the morning. So that'll be a vital interview coming up at 3:30. And our other guest today, Marty Biron, I believe it's going to be his third time on the Reid Wilkins show.
He's so good.
He's always insightful. I mean, we'll talk some goaltending stuff with him. And here's what we're going to do. The plenty of Oilers are deserving of criticism in this series, or have not played to what you need to play, the level you need to play to win a playoff series. Stuart Skinner being one of them. But I want to ask him about getting heckled, getting his name chanted, about what he would do between whistles if he's having a bad game or things like that, because I want to see how he would handle things. I know we've been getting asked throughout the day, well, why was Skinner smiling? Why did he not appear to be upset? I don't know, quite frankly. I mean, I don't know what's in Stuart Skinner's head. I don't know what his routine is to deal with stress and stuff like that. So whatever opinion you have on that, you're entitled to your opinion. I don't usually get as hung up on that kind of stuff. I'd probably be more critical of a player if he melted down, quite frankly. But
what if that's a version of melting down, Reid?
Well, maybe for him it is. Yeah.
That's losing it.
Maybe that's it. Could be. But anyway, we want to get Biron's perspective on that because he's been there. He's been in games. He's played in NHL playoff games and all that kind of stuff. So those are our guests today. Time to hear from you. As always, you can email jay@edmontonsportstalk.com, reid@edmontonsportstalk.com. Reid is REID. Couple limericks have already come into the show, so we'll get to your limericks throughout the course of the program as well. If you are taking us in on YouTube, which has a video feed as well as the audio, we have a chat stream going there. It's called the Nasty Chat. So you can talk, not always with us so as much. Sometimes we'll read stuff out of there, but usually people just kind of start talking to each other. So that's cool. And if you are in there, keep clicking that thumbs up button. We've had a really good week with audience members clicking the thumbs up, so no reason to stop doing it today.
Click, click, click. Must you click? Please, please click. Must you click? You must click. Thumb, thumb, thumb.
Like, you guys could sing along to that better than I could. And
Reid,
it's my voice on the original.
We're not the only ones. Like, I know for a fact in my house, when that comes on, the girls will sing it. I sing it every time. How can you resist? It's a catchy tune. It's a jingle. You should write. That's what you got to do.
On what show was I on today where somebody was asking me, like, do you say must you click? Like, why did you say that? I'm like, it wasn't pre-written. I did it spur of the moment. I didn't think it was going to be something that would be played for several weeks or become somewhat of a thing. So
it is a thing. It's got its own handle.
Reid, what was your inspiration for that? Nothing. Being goofy on a live show. Trying to get more thumbs up clicks. And now we have audience members who won't click the thumb until they hear it.
Look, must you click
must you click is somebody's handle in the Nasty Chat. I wonder if that's the same person who pretends to be Brad Marchand and Drew Doughty and Kasperi Kapanen and who else? One other player they usually try to be. Oh, Tkachuk. Matthew Tkachuk. I think that's all the same person, but maybe it's all different people. Maybe wouldn't that be hilarious if one day Drew Doughty was like, "Hey, that actually was me in your show." Like
that would be fun to just go totally. It would be like
actually be yourself. Like, no, I was totally honest.
Yeah,
I'm Drew Doughty. Yep. I went on your show as Drew Doughty, and you guys made fun of me and said it wasn't me.
That would be fun.
So there we go. And what's the other thing you can do? Oh, you can text.
Yes.
The afternoon inbox, 780-218-9999, presented by River Cree Resort and Casino, home of Tap 25 Restaurant, where the entire menu is 50% off 7 days a week from 2 to 5 p.m. All right. Plenty to talk about with the Edmonton Oilers. They are not playing well. I think LA is playing exceptionally well. I will just say this, and I know this from having been a talk show host in this market for over a decade now, and having been on Oilers post-game shows and stuff like that. You are entitled to your feelings, and you can express frustration with us, with the team. You can be angry. You can have opinions. It doesn't mean we're going to share your emotion. Okay, so if you write something in that is angry or critical, and we read it and talk about it, it doesn't mean we don't acknowledge you or allow you to be angry. It's just, I'm just saying this because sometimes I over the years I get, why aren't you angry, Reid? Why aren't you yelling? Why aren't you calling this player an idiot? Why aren't you belittling this player? Because generally I don't act that way, and I don't think you do either. We'd sooner talk about it. So your emotions, fine, bring them to us. Quite frankly, it's probably, if you are angry about something, Oilers related or frustrated today, it's probably better you give us the barrage than other people in your life.
That's right.
If you're at work, the person in the next cubicle probably doesn't want you yelling about Bouchard. You probably don't need to go home to your family and go on a tirade about the team. So we're here to take that. Again, I'm just saying, we're not going to match that emotion. We're going to talk about stuff. Or sometimes we might just say, "Hey, man, we got your text. Thanks for venting, and let's see what they do in the next game." But we will dive into some stuff today, and there's a lot to dive into when it comes to this team. So I want to give, and we'll have the Oil Understood for GCL Diesel a little bit later on. Before we get to our off-topic topic for William Huff. And we'll have extensive audio when we do the Oil Understood. I want to get to a couple clips from the media availabilities earlier today as the teams talked before they traveled. Key question for Oilers head coach Chris Knobloch. Are you contemplating making a starting goalie change for Game 3 tomorrow night?
Well, we knew throughout the series, if we're fortunate enough to play through June, that most likely we're going to make a switch at some time, but we haven't made a decision as of now. Unfortunate for Skinner, because I don't think any of those goals are. He's in a difficult situation. I don't think there's the amount of chances are low, the shots. But the quality of shots, chances were high. And that's not easy for the goaltender. You can have some of those once in a while, but just too many. So it's just unfortunate for him. But that's something we'll have to decide.
I think, and this will be one of our discussion points today, I think Calvin Pickard will start in net. So there are two sides to this. There's what I would do, and there's what I think Knobloch is going to do. I would start Pickard. And I think I said that yesterday, that if the Oilers come home down 2-0, Pickard likely starts Game 3, unless last night would have been a 2-1 double overtime loss and Skinner stopped 57 of 59 to keep you in the game. I think the coaching staff is going to start Pickard because it's been a very rocky ride for Skinner the last couple months of the season. I mean, really ever since they had that good run mid-season. And I think if you put in Pickard and the Oilers again allow 4, 5, 6, 7 goals, then you can go back to Skinner for Game 4 and you say, well, he was the guy last year and he's been the guy most of this year. So if the season's going to end, we're going to end it with him. Whereas I think if you start Skinner tomorrow and they lose, and then you're throwing in Pickard down 3-0, it doesn't put Pickard in a great situation. Though I guess being down in the series isn't great either way. That's what I think is going to happen, and again, that's also what I would do.
I thought it was interesting that he said that something to the effect that they figured this was going to happen at some point during the playoffs.
Well, that they would need both goalies,
right? Winnipeg's not saying that, right? Dallas is not saying that. Washington's not saying that. I mean, it's a strange thing to say going into the playoffs that you figured you were going to have to count on both goaltenders. Yeah. That means that one of your goaltenders you figured was not going to be able to handle it and play well enough.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Sure.
It's interesting. I think maybe he's just being very honest, which tells you a lot about the situation in in goaltending. But he's right.
I think what he means is if you're going to win the Stanley Cup, it's a long grind.
Sure.
But yeah, some teams have perhaps more obvious guys who will start every game. I mean, I think in Washington, maybe the other guy could play. I don't know. In Winnipeg, obviously, that's extremely unlikely. I want to get to a comment here from the head coach of the Los Angeles Kings, Jim Hiller. So the question he was asked was, have you rewatched the game from last night, and did you see anything different than what you saw live? Okay, so that was the starting point for the question, but then he kind of takes the answers to a couple of different places.
No, it was pretty similar. They had a lot of pressure on us early, I thought, in the first period. Forechecked us, had some time in our zone, but we kept them on the outside for the most part. It felt during the time maybe they had a little more pressure on us than when you go back and you review it and you go, yeah, they were in there, but they didn't have a lot of stuff in the interior.
So how do you think you handled McDavid-Draisaitl combo specifically?
I mean, I think I would just say this. Our team's doing a really good job. So I don't want to single those two out in particular. I think our team's doing a pretty good job defensively without the puck. And we'll have to be all that and more the next game. We can't be satisfied, but we've done a good job.
All right, so what did we hear from the two coaches, basically? When Knobloch was asked about the goaltending, he said, we're giving up too many high-quality chances. And then when Hiller was asked about rewatching last night's game, the one thing he said, well, in the moment, it's a little nerve-wracking when the other team has the puck in your end, but I went back and watched it, and they had the puck, but they really weren't threatening. We owned the interior of the ice. And special teams, massive, obviously. I still think that's the headline for the series, but that's another big storyline, is who's better in the scoring area, the slot, the high danger zone, whatever the cool term is for it now, the interior. The Kings are better in front of both nets.
Absolutely.
The Oilers... and the Oilers are having too many self-inflicted wounds. I first said this last night. I probably said it on all my appearances today. And I'm not saying this necessarily rhetorically. If there might be an answer, there's maybe a play I'm forgetting. Can anybody name a self-inflicted wound committed by the Los Angeles Kings in terms of course there are mistakes. Hockey's a frantic game. There's always little turnovers, bobbled pucks, missed chances, missed checks, all that kind of stuff. But if the LA Kings made a 5-alarm error that then wound up in their own net, even when the Oilers had all that pressure in the third period, that was more McDavid going into going to outer space, going warp speed, as opposed to the Kings all of a sudden giving the puck away.
I think it's a great question because I'm drawing a blank. Whereas you look to the Oilers, and that's the majority of these goals.
Right.
Or if you would consider some stupid penalties or poor timing on penalties to be self-inflicted, yeah, it's a lot of them. But that's it. They're and it's not even close, Reid, when you're looking at who's controlling the nets in front of the net on the offensive side and in the Oilers zone. It's not even close.
And the first period last night, I thought, okay, the Oilers weren't bad. I think they outshot them 11-6. They did have the puck more. But LA gets the power play goal because the special teams is being dominated by LA. And then as Hiller said, well, they had the puck, they got some shots, but they really weren't close to scoring.
They didn't threaten.
Hyman on the power play, and then probably the best save by an LA King in this series, Gavrikov knocking Hyman off the rebound.
Yep.
And then that was on the power play. So that's one of the huge storylines is the Oilers got to quit shooting themselves in the foot, and they got to find a way to get to the net against the LA Kings. But the Kings have built a roster that doesn't allow teams to get to the net, and they're doing a very good job executing their game plan.
Yeah, and earlier in the year, you would see those chances, and they're just not going in. They're just not getting the goals. But now they're not going in, but you're seeing far fewer chances of grade A chances.
Yeah.
It's a question as to can they turn this around? Right?
And that's a legitimate question.
That is a legitimate question.
One of the many things we'll discuss throughout the afternoon. Okay, CFL Commissioner Stewart Johnston coming up in about 10 minutes. Our off-topic topic for William Huff. Since 1952, William Huff has provided industry-leading advertising solutions for thousands of valued clients. Their unparalleled customer service, combined with decades of industry expertise and a desire to make every job the very best it can be, is what they call the William Huff Advantage. Visit their website, williamhuff.com, or give them a shout, 780-454-4536. Have you ever been caught smiling or laughing at an inappropriate time? That is our off-topic topic. We want the story. Tell us about a time you were caught smiling or laughing at an inappropriate time. Email Jay.
It happens.
Jay@edmontonsportstalk.com. You can email me, reid@edmontonsportstalk.com. You can text the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox, 780-218-9999. And if you're so inclined, you can also post your story in the Nasty Chat. If you'd like, if you have a handle or an internet, you can say, hey, here's my story, but can you not mention it's me? We'll keep you anonymous if you want. So inspired by Skinner last night, have you ever been caught smiling or laughing at an inappropriate time?
This came to me like very quick.
Well, you have something.
I do. When we were younger, we would go out to my Baba's house outside of Vegreville, and they would bless the food before meals. And we were younger, we were kids, and they were used to it, but we were not. They would sing or bless the food in a Ukrainian prayer.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, we would laugh about it all the time.
Oh my goodness.
We'd be standing, you're supposed to be quiet and very, you're supposed to be taking it all in, and we'd all crack up, my brothers and sisters. I don't know why, but my Uncle John would always lead the course, and we to the point where my mom would have to tell us on the way out, like, hey, no, keep your faces down, when we're blessing the meal. I don't know. It was definitely inappropriate, but we were kids.
The naughty Milne children.
Very.
Those Milne children, they're so snotty.
We were children.
All right, we're going to go to the Coop for a sports update. Again, around 3:30, CFL Commissioner, the new guy, Stewart Johnston, is going to join us here on the Reid Wilkins Show. If you are taking us in on iHeartRadio or TuneIn Radio, those apps, thank you for streaming the show. We really appreciate it. You can help us out. Let other people know where to find the show if you think they'd be interested in our content, which why wouldn't you be? And if you're on YouTube today, subscribe to the station. Subscribe to Edmonton Sports Talk if you haven't already, and keep clicking that thumbs up button as well. We want to see if we can get another 200 thumb show. So let's set that as an early goal. We are almost at 60 right away, but don't delay. Get in there and click. Share the link with other people so they click too. Here comes the Coop.
There's 4 games in the NHL tonight, including Ottawa trailing 2-0. Entering Game 3 against Toronto, Max Pacioretty makes his way back to the Leafs lineup. Elsewhere, the Jets take on the Blues, looking to go up 3-0 in the series. And from Edmonton, Luke Pierce's time as the head coach of the Oil Kings is up, as the team has announced that they will not be renewing his contract. The NBA has a trio of Game 3s. New York visits Detroit, with the Knicks dropping Game 2 of that series. Game 2, that series is tied at 1 apiece. The Grizzlies hit the court down 2-0 to the Thunder, while the Clippers and Nuggets clash in a tied series. Meanwhile, Houston and Cleveland have swapped some picks in the NFL. 2 fifth-rounders are off to the Browns, one from this year, one from 2027, while the Texans have received 2 sixth-round picks and a 7th in this year's draft. Just a single game is live in baseball, with Brewers up 5-2 on the Giants in the 5th inning. Jays and Yankees start a 3-game series tomorrow. This sports update is brought to you by Find Edmonton. Find takes your unused furniture and home goods to help those moving out of homelessness. Get donations picked up or drop them off free of charge. Visit findedmonton.com or call them at 780-988-1717. The Reid Wilkins Show returns once we get back from break. I'm Zachary Kubish for your sports update.
Two guys and a goalie.
Quinton Byfield has been very noticeable in games 1 and 2. Is Quinton Byfield public enemy number 1 coming back to Edmonton?
Yeah, I think recency bias on this one. Doughty would be a close number 2 because he always is, but I think just based on the series and the physicality and the interactions he's had, he's got to be public enemy number 1. Although I do love the underdog.
Two guys and a goalie, presented by GS Construction. Tuesday and Thursday afternoons at noon, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Spin to win Fridays at the Banquet. Every Friday, spin the wheel for a chance to win big and save on your bill. It's that easy. Spin, win, and save. Don't miss out. Details at thebanquetbar.com. The Banquet. Get real. Play hard.
GCL Diesel has been serving oil country since 1972. From diesel cars to SUVs to pickups. From farm tractors to school buses to a big rig. From diesel generators to forklifts, GCL can test, troubleshoot, and repair all diesel fuel system components. Whether it's injectors, pumps, turbos, filters, or additive, GCL has the parts you need to keep your diesel running the way it should. For genuine diesel parts at wholesale prices, visit GCL Diesel in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel. Diesel understood.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Downsizing, upsizing, or staging your home to sell? Sentinel Storage is Edmonton's team for affordable storage solutions. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
Sentinel Storage, proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
Okay, good to have you tuning in this afternoon. Tomorrow at Rogers Place, a playoff game between the Edmonton Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings. 8 o'clock game. So tomorrow on EST, the live programming starts at 6 a.m. with the Nielsen Show. And it's going to go all the way until 8 o'clock because our show is going to extend by half an hour. So we'll go 3 to 6:30. Tom and Hernan will take over at 6:30, go until 8. And then they're on after the game as well. Tom's going to be at the Ice House in the Plaza. I'm going to join him in person for my post-game hit, so that'll be fun. And hopefully the Oilers can get back in the win column in this series. Travel day today, so nobody on the ice, but we already played a couple clips. We'll have more from the two head coaches and from Brett Kulak, as we move through the afternoon.
Was it odd to me or to you that they didn't travel home last night?
No, that's what they do in the playoffs.
That's what they stay overnight.
That's more common in the playoffs that they'll stay overnight.
Okay.
As opposed to in the regular season where they would often come home right after a game or go on to the next
Why
city.
is it different in the playoffs?
Just rest. Some sleep experts said stay in the same city and come back the next day. And they're not practicing as much, so they don't need to worry about getting back on the ice or anything like that. We are in the Banquet studio. Craving a late night snack? Check out the Banquet's new late night happy hour menu, Sunday to Thursday, 9 p.m. till close. Enjoy favorites like sweet and spicy lettuce wraps or the Banquet burger at happy hour prices. The Banquet. Get real. Play hard. Pleased to have the Banquet on board as our studio sponsor. Tonight in the National Hockey League, and we'll do our game of the night, of course, later on, but just a very quick look ahead, and we're minutes away, maybe seconds away. He's probably logging in any second. We're going to have new CFL Commissioner Stewart Johnston on the show. Panthers Lightning. So they played at 8:30 Eastern a couple of days ago, right? Tonight is 6:30 Eastern, and then I believe they have a matinee on Saturday. Leafs Senators, so we'll have that on the ESTV coming up. Golden Knights and Wild, and the Jets and the Blues. So the Jets and Blues are playing in 9:30 Eastern game, so 7:30 here in Edmonton. I guess that'd be 8:30 in St. Louis. So the starts, it's not just the Oilers that get weird start times, everybody, in the postseason. It does happen at other times. All right, Coob, is he ready to go? Almost? Oh, we got him. Okay, it's the new guy. He is the new commissioner of the Canadian Football League. Stewart Johnston is checking in. Stewart, my name is Reid Wilkins. This is Jason Milne. Don't hold it against us, but Dustin Nielsen is our boss. I'm sure You know him well, and you'll get to know him a little bit better. I'm going to dive. First of all, congratulations on the new job. My first question is going to sound like I'm interviewing you for the job, but I think it's a relevant one to ask you on air here. Why do you want this job? What's the appeal of being the commissioner of the CFL?
Well, thank you. It's great to meet both of you, and I apologize about Dustin, and we can go for a beer later and talk some stories. And also, just before I start, as someone who's just come from the TV side of the business, I can tell you it is those TV networks that give those terrible start times to St. Louis and to Edmonton. So I'm hopefully coming away from the dark side on that. Why would the better question is, why wouldn't I want this job? I think of it in maybe three buckets. One, the league is on a roll. We've got great momentum as a league. We have had consistent growth in overall revenue. We have a product on the field that is driving 52 points a game, where the large majority of games are being decided in the last 3 minutes. The athletes are outstanding. The momentum in some of our bigger markets has grown. The ownership group at the board level is probably as strong as I've ever seen it in my 25 years in dealing with the league. The fan base is excellent. TV ratings have grown 2 years in a row, which I can tell you does not happen for every sport. Most sports, even the biggest ones you can think of, have shown declines year over year. So lots of great positive momentum to build from. And a credit to Randy and the team at the league office and all the clubs and the board for providing that. Second piece for me is passion for football. I'm a sports junkie, but out of all the sports, football is my number one. And the idea of leading an organization like the CFL, and what some people have called this, is this your dream job? Well, no, because I never dreamt it. I never would have dreamt this was possible. And I'm just so incredibly excited about that. And I've talked so long, I've even forgot my third bucket.
Okay, well, those were pretty good. That was a good answer. Yeah.
Stewart Johnston joining us, CFL Commissioner. Stewart, you're taking on this role after Randy Ambrosie successfully held that position for 7 years. What can you take away from his legacy and carry forward now into your role as the CFL Commissioner?
Well, I think there are a few things. By the way, Randy has become a good friend over all these years because we've had to work so closely together. And I have immense respect for Randy and affection. He's a great guy. So one, be a great guy, be a good person. I've tried to model that, being a good person, my entire career. And certainly he was a great example of that. Two, player safety. He was really focused on player safety and relationship with the players. And I think the improvements we've seen in player safety and with our incredible medical staff are demonstrated. The numbers of reduced injuries, reduced better time back or lower time to get back on the field, and we want our stars on the field. And he supported those stars, and so I think if it was be a great person, really focus on those players, and then be someone that the fans can understand and relate to. And I feel that was the case, that the fans really understood just how much passion Randy had for this game and this league, and I think that resonated.
New CFL Commissioner Stewart Johnston joining us on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. You were with TSN. And by the way, another thing, don't hold against me. I'm good friends with Jay Onright. Boy. I know. You mentioned the TV ratings. So I'll throw this question, though, to you this way, because, it's competitive to get eyes and ears on live sports. Now that you're on the CFL side of things, what is TSN's role in the future of the CFL?
Well, I think the short-term answer to that question is very easy. For the next 2 seasons, TSN and RDS will continue to be outstanding partners of the CFL, delivering our content across multiple platforms, obviously the linear basis being the biggest reach. Bell has put more games on CTV this year than even last year when we introduced games back to CTV. And I do know, it's not been announced yet, so I'll just tease it, working with third-party platforms to drive new content ideas in and around CFL storytelling. So I'll say this, and I totally believe I can say this objectively. The folks at TSN have been outstanding partners to the league for a long time. And I know for sure that the people who produce the games are A, world-class at what they do, and B, as passionate about this league as anyone you'll find. So we're going to encourage that moving forward over the next couple of years. Beyond that, of course, the new deal needs to be negotiated and will start in 27. I'm a believer, and I've run, in business. This has been a philosophy of mine for a long time, that if you have a strong, long-term incumbent partner, they should have the first chance to talk things over with you going forward. That relates to a media rights negotiation. That would be an advertiser or a sponsor who's been with you for a long time. That's what you get in being that's called partnership. So I want to have that first conversation, and we'll explore what can happen. Certainly, we live in a world where digital distribution is incredibly important, and that's why every major media company in the world is transitioning from a linear, traditional broadcast distribution method to a digital distribution method. And so Bell is no different than anyone else. Neither is any other major Canadian player. They're all heading down that path.
Stuart, I coach a flag football team. There's 11 players. It's comprised of 9 and 10-year-olds. At our first practice, I wanted to gauge their comfort level with the sport of football. I didn't know who had played, who knows. And so I asked, I said, who here knows what the name of Edmonton CFL team is? And of the 11 kids on the team, 2 of them knew. That was disheartening to me. And I'm sure it is to hear that. Now, how do you plan on engaging the younger demographic, the next generation of the CFL fan?
I'd love to look at that story from a different angle. I love that those kids were on a field playing football. and the fact that they were on a field playing football and didn't know the Elks name tells me that we've gotten over the hard part. The hard part is getting them on the field, getting them to touch a football, getting them to throw, catch, learn strategy, learn tactics, and most of all, be exposed to just how fun this game is. And I think those 9 and 10-year-olds, after a few practices, games, or a season, are going to absolutely know who the Elks are. And so that is a big piece of how I think we're going to engage young people. Get them playing. You both know just how fun this game is. You play it, you love it. You love it, you'll watch it. Maybe you'll develop into someone who wants to play at a higher level. Maybe you'll become an official and want to officiate at a higher level. All goodness comes from that. So I'm taking it as a good story. I think they will know the Elks name. Now, yes, I would have loved all of them to know it right off the bat. But I'm going to go with the positive on that.
Okay. I know you've been doing a lot of appearances and interviews today, so I apologize because you've probably been asked this about 80,000 times, but we got to get it live on this show. What is your stance on adding a 10th team to the Canadian Football League?
No problem. It's an important question. And my answer is very clear. I would love a 10th team in this league. It would be beneficial to the league on probably 10 different levels. It could start from as tactical as scheduling and as strategic as growth of the game across the country and everything that can deliver, and matchups and all of that. A 10th team would be wonderful. However, I am not going to make finding that 10th team an initial priority of mine because I've got to look at where I can allocate resources. That's human resources, financial resources. A leader's job of an organization, a lot of it comes down to how you allocate resources, where you spend your time, effort, and money. And I want to do that on things that I know I can control. I know I can control how we create content, how we distribute content, and how we make our game more entertaining. I know I can control supporting the teams and the players and the involvement they have in their community. I know I can control in the development of innovative technology that can drive our data enhanced feeds, drive our stats better, drive player health and safety recovery better. Those are things that I can be directly involved with. So that's why I would say it's not a priority of mine coming into 25 and maybe even the short term after that. My last caveat, I apologize for talking so long. My last caveat is if an ownership group came knocking on our door and said, we have a proposal and we have the funding and we have the stadium and we have the willpower and we have the network and the connections, we're listening. So please know, we're not turning anybody away that comes in with a proposal like that.
Okay. Don't apologize for giving detailed answers. That's great. Jay and I are very lucky to do this job because we get access to people like you. And I have a bit of a idea that I always get to talk about on air. So I'm very lucky on your first day. I can throw this maybe it's not a curveball at you. I personally believe, Stuart, as a longtime CFL fan, I'm 51 years of age. I've always followed the league since I was a little kid. I personally believe it's time for the divisions to go. I would like to see a league 1 through 9 or 1 through 10 with the top 6 making the playoffs. You have quarterfinals and semifinals. I don't think people are married to an East-West Grey Cup. I think it would make the playoff races perhaps even more interesting because there might be more jockeying for seeding and getting a home game as opposed to a 5-team and a 4-team division. My question is, what do you think of my idea?
Well, on hour 7 of my new job, I love that. Let's just overhaul the entire history of the league and our formats.
Okay, so sorry. I guess my question is: Are you married to an East-West Grey Cup in the current playoff format, or are you open to entertaining other ways of seeding and determining Grey Cup combatants?
Well, Reid, I don't know if I even have the knowledge to fully answer your question, how I'd react to the idea. However, let me say this. My first 100 days, I plan to do a listening tour. And I want to work with media members. I want to work with the teams, players, presidents, GMs, coaches, fans, my league office, of course. And I'm going to count that idea as day 1 of my listening tour. And that is an idea that makes sense. And I'll say this. My belief is that there's no magic potion to create a massive growth in our league. This is a grind, right? This is a take first step, take the next step. And in doing that, as we think about how to make our league more entertaining while protecting the integrity of the game, that is an idea that we should think about. That is that is an example of an idea that we should think about. So thank you for that.
Stewart Johnston, CFL Commissioner, joining us here on the Reid Wilkins Show on Edmonton Sports Talk. You just said you're going to be going on a listening tour, so I figured, well, I got you here, Stuart. Yeah. I might as well take my kick at the can.
Well, whose question is this?
Well, yeah. Okay, okay. So Stuart, we are on an audio stream. We're also on YouTube, and we have a chat that happens while this is all going on, a live chat. And this is coming up a lot in the live chat as well as in our office with our colleagues, maybe our boss. But one of the things is you said you want to make the league more entertaining, but keep the league as it is, as the CFL as we know it and love it as Canadian football fans. So I want to talk to you about season-long fantasy football, the rise and growth of the NFL fantasy football has vastly deepened the engagement south of the border, as well as worldwide, and grown the market. And I'm sure on the side, it's brought in some very nice revenue for the league as well. Where is CFL season-long fantasy football fall into your listening tour, your 100-day plan, and maybe that digital content you were teasing earlier?
I think it falls smack dab in the middle of all of that, right? Yes. I think that if we talk about the 2 of the key 3 priorities for me being innovation and entertainment, and ultimately driving our audience, average age of our audience down through the engagement of younger folks, and then increasing digital engagement. Fantasy has proven to be a fabulous way to do that. I do know that there are some great fantasy platforms that the CFL is already involved with and offers. I think in our world of continuous improvement, we should look at all of our digital in-game gaming platforms and think about and listen to fans and listen to sponsors, and this would fall 100% on that plate.
Okay, well, that's Dustin's question, and I think when you get to hang out with him, he'll be peppering you with ideas on how it should work. Stuart, thanks for joining us. I know you've had a busy day. You're very generous with your time. Thanks for rolling with our questions. Very informative. We do wish you the best. Jay and I both care a lot about the Canadian Football League. I've been on Double E season ticket holder since '97. Jay played for the U of A Golden Bears, so and he's mentioned he's coaching. He's a big part of the football community here in the Edmonton area. So thanks for coming on. I wish you all the best. I hope we're going to be talking a lot in the years to come as well. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I look forward to the same, and thank you for your support of Canadian football.
Right on. Stewart Johnston is the new commissioner of the CFL. So first time we've talked to him, I would say pretty honest. I think as transparent as he could be, as he was joking 7 hours into the job. I think we got a little bit of commissioner speak because he can't commit to a whole bunch of stuff. But I think we got a good sense of where he wants the league to go, digital stuff, modernizing stuff, remembering its entertainment. Like okay, here's what I think. I got the sense that my question about the divisions maybe surprised him a little bit. And he might have been a little bit like, wow, weird bearded guy in Edmonton. Who's this guy? I didn't get the sense that your fantasy or Dustin's fantasy question surprised him as much. I think that was already on his radar. That was my interpretation.
Well, he said that the league is already in talks with different platforms that already have fantasy football capabilities. So, I mean, wouldn't that be fantastic, though? I mean, but look at it, Reid. We talked about it earlier. You play NFL fantasy football. Yeah. Everybody does. My wife plays. My neighbor, everybody does. And it makes you watch that product because you're cheering for a person or to score a touchdown.
Right.
So, and especially with the younger generation, the kids that you're trying to find ways to get them involved in the CFL game. Well, and do it right, by the way. I will say this, and I understand they most likely will, but do it right. Get on with the right partners and run it properly, and I think that would be a huge, huge success for the CFL. I mean, Dusty and Maddie are in the nasty chat. Maddie would like to sit down with Stewart Johnston and tell him essentially how to run it, as he's been the commissioner of his own league.
Well, Dustin's going to have the best access of all of us to the commissioner.
Maddie's sneaky.
Well, okay, fair enough. All right, we're glad to have him on. Thanks to Dustin for lining that up.
An honest conversation. Like you said, we did get some commissioners speak.
Yeah,
but then you got me, you, and him hanging out in a pub having a pint kind of conversation, which is nice.
Yeah, he seemed fairly down to earth. You can tell he has a lot of respect for Randy Ambrosie. It was interesting how and maybe this was the part where I'm saying was a bit of commissioner speak, where he spun, hey, these kids don't know the name of the team. And he said, no, but they're playing football. Play football first and then cheer for the Elks. I think usually it might be the opposite. Get them interested in the game on TV and then get them into football. But I guess maybe it can work either way.
I can understand what he said. Yeah, for sure.
But, but as I often say about Bettman, it's his job to sell the league. So you don't want him coming on and being overly negative, but you want him recognizing problems, but probably not being overly negative about it either. We'll get to more of your reaction to that interview. 780-218-9999 is the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. You can email reid@edmontonsportstalk.com. Post in the nasty chat on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube, continue to click that thumbs up button. Let's see if we can get a big boost here to get to 100 by the top of the hour, let's say.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Yeah, I mean, I think I noticed during that interview the clicking went down a little bit, which is good because people were probably paying attention. Now, we're going to commercial, so give us, okay, fine, everybody.
Give them a little incentive.
I'll pander. I'm not above that.
Click, click, click. Must you click? Please, please click. Must you click? You must click. Thumb, thumb, thumb.
All right. Marty Biron, by the way, is coming up at 4:20. We're going to have the oil understood for GCL Diesel. Here's Zachary Kubish.
The Oil Kings have announced that they will not be renewing head coach Luke Pierce's contract, with Pierce being the head coach of the team since the 2022-23 season. In the NHL, there's 4 games. Panthers Lightning face off in Game 2. Florida taking the opener before Toronto looks to take a 3-0 series lead over the Senators, while the Golden Knights and Wild meet in Game 3. That one's tied at 1 apiece. And basketball has a few Game 3 of their own. OKC visits Memphis, the Thunder leading 2-0, while the Knicks and Pistons are tied at 1 apiece, and the Nuggets then battle the Clippers with the series tied 1-1. Baseball has just one game live, with the Giants down 5-4 to the Brewers in the top of the 6th inning, with the Royals-Rockies doubleheader just getting underway. Kansas City winning 7-4 in that first game. This sports update is brought to you by Paramount Flooring, proudly serving Edmonton and area for over 30 years. Their West End showroom is open 7 days a week. You can also shop online at ParamountFlooring.ca. More with Reid and Jay once we get back from break. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Gallo LLP is an Alberta-based accounting firm with expert chartered professional accountants in both our Edmonton and Sherwood Park accounting firms. Our experienced and innovative accountants provide financial advice that saves our clients money. Simply put, we help our clients protect their assets and grow their businesses. At Gallo LLP, they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John to discuss how they can help your business grow. Visit gallollp.ca today and see how they can help you take your business to the next level.
Do you have pets? Horses? Chickens? Did the place you used to get your feed recently close down? Have no fear. Clover Bar Feeds is here. Whether it's dogs, cats, horses, or chickens, Clover Bar Feeds has you covered. Offering a large variety of food and feed, you can trust the experts at Clover Bar Feeds. They've been family owned and operated for over 60 years. This means you can expect nothing less than top-notch service and selection. Come visit them at 200 Portage Close in Sherwood Park, or visit them online at cloverbarfeeds.com.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know.
Must you click? Click. Thumb. Must you click? Thumb, thumb, thumb.
All right, thanks, Coop. That is the Thumb Clicks remix, as put together by our own Zachary Kubish, along with Jason Milne. I'm Reid Wilkins. The Reid Wilkins Show on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Yes, you are indeed clicking the thumbs. Less than 10 to get to 100. Let's do that in the next 6 minutes. So don't delay. Your boss isn't going to give you a heck for watching EST at work. If you got it on YouTube and he's walking by and you're clicking to some spreadsheet, just leave it up there and click.
Show him the click song.
Just say it's a local show. I like watching it. Maybe you should watch it. Hey, Boss Jenkins?
Yeah.
You taskmaster.
Boss Jenkins.
Quit whipping me.
Yeah. Get
Jeez.
off my back.
Yeah. Leave me alone, Boss Jenkins.
Leave me alone.
Trying to watch a show.
Yeah.
I can answer the phone and do the show.
Go bug Jamie in accounting, Boss Jenkins.
All right. Yeah, but click away. Comments from Kulak, Knobloch, Hiller coming up in the Oil Understood after 4 o'clock.
A couple comments came in. Reid, your CFL 1-9 no division idea is absolutely bang on. Good job. That comes in from T-Rev. And Troll also agrees divisions make no sense in the CFL. Get rid of them. It sounds like a lot of people are on.
Yeah.
I guess, and it wasn't like he just said no. I mean,
he included it as point number 1 on his listening tour. He listened to me.
But, the listening tour, right? I mean, I think that is something that you could probably glean a lot of insight into what your fans want to see.
But there's going to be a lot of stuff to weed through.
Absolutely.
But
like the no divisions question,
I'm the craziest fan of them all, everybody.
But yeah, I honestly, Reid, I thought that was just a normal conversation.
Yeah.
Like the commissioner speak didn't last long. And although he has to, right? He is the commissioner of the league. But that was a great first personal impression for Stewart Johnston from me anyhow.
All right. I mean, he was even so excited he forgot one of his points. But basically, like, why do you want a job? He thinks the league is on a roll. He has a lot of passion for football. He talked about player safety being an important part of Randy Ambrosie's legacy that he wants to continue. I asked about TSN's future, and he did say, well, there's 2 more years on the contract. But he said, how did he put it? That the existing and long-term
first right of refusal
partner should be involved. Digital distribution, like he's talking about, that's how we're doing this station. For the most part, that's going to be big.
Digital content. Maybe that's season-long fantasy or ways to wager on CFL games through their site or with a partner or whatever. So that's on the table as well. And his answer about the 10th team was good. He said he'd like one, but it's not an initial priority, which I think was a good way to put it. He did say if somebody comes to the door with billions of dollars and a stadium, the stadium probably, let me put it this way. There are probably more people in Canada who are wealthy enough to own a CFL team than there are people who have a football stadium with enough seats for a team. True enough.
Or they don't have both, right?
Very true.
Or not. They might have enough money to own a team, but maybe not enough money to build a stadium without civic involvement or whatever. But I thought that was a pretty good answer. Again, I think my division question, he might have been thinking like, okay, who is this guy? But I wanted to ask him because you never know. Sometimes a guy might say, you never know. He might be like, Reid, I can't believe you said that.
You read my mind.
But I've been saying that for a few years. It's just I don't think the CFL needs divisions. I mean,
would it change if the divisions were equal teams?
Maybe.
So it's not lopsided.
Yeah, but so now I know people are saying, well, okay, there's a couple teams you have to play 3 times. How would you determine that? You'd base it on the previous year's standings, like the NFL does. Like if you finish 3rd in your division, you play another 3rd place team. So that's what you do. You take the top 3 teams in the CFL in a pod for next year's schedule. So the first place team would get their 2 extra games against 2nd and 3rd.
Yes.
4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9.
Reid, the question about growth though and growing the league. I do appreciate that there's some sense of looking inward first. It's like growing a small business. You don't branch out and grow your business until you've got your home base taken care of and it's running successfully.
Right.
In fact, running and making money and doing well and it's sustainable. Then you can look at growth. I think they need to look inward first, especially in his new tenure.
Yeah.
And then after he's sat in the King's chair for a little while, maybe then you could, look that direction.
Jim in the Nasty Chat says, Reid, totally disagree with your take on the CFL. If Toronto and Hamilton are in the Grey Cup and the game is in Edmonton, who from Edmonton would attend? Not many. Hope it never happens. Yeah, maybe, but I think if you've got a Grey Cup ticket, you are buying a ticket knowing that your home team might not be in it. I mean, okay, BC and Montreal in Edmonton. So what if it's Toronto, Hamilton? I want the 2 best teams you got to earn your way in. So I don't know, Jim. I knew I would get comments like that. I've heard that in the past when I brought that up. I respect that. But why does it have to be an East-West Grey Cup, Jim? Would be my question back to you. Well, it's always been that way. Okay. But why does it have to be an East-West Grey Cup? Winnipeg was in the East Division for a while. So why does it have to be an East-West Grey Cup? And if the home team isn't in it, does it matter if the Grey Cup's in Edmonton? Does it matter if it's Toronto Hamilton or Toronto Calgary or Ottawa Saskatchewan? The home team's not in it. I just think people want to go for a game and go for the spectacle and go for the fact that they're going to be there. That's my take, Jim. I totally respect you. Maybe you're like, well, at least you got to have one team from the region in it. Fair enough. I don't think it matters anymore. And I don't want to, part of the reason I say this, now the East Division's won 3 straight Grey Cups and they've had pretty good. But the reason I bring this up is because I was sick of seeing 8-win teams in the East get a home playoff game and 11 or 12-win teams in the West have to go on the road.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't get a bye, but maybe they wouldn't get a bye, but they should have got a home game. That's why I bring that up, Jim. But I appreciate you chiming in. I appreciate that you care enough Yeah, Jim wrote back. He said, need to cheer from someone from the West if I'm going to a Grey Cup. Again, I respect what you're saying, Jim, and I want to hear from people on this, but my belief is that most Elks fans then don't throw their support behind the Western team in the Grey Cup. I think they just watch.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, like Jim, for me, as an Elks season ticket holder, if Saskatchewan's in the Grey Cup, I'm not going to put my support behind Saskatchewan just because they're from the West. I don't like the Rough Riders, okay? In my personal life. On air, I'll, whatever, talk about them balanced, but I don't cheer for them.
Mr. Gerbic said that he agrees that the Canadian Football League is 70% American, including players and front management staff. He was agreeing with a statement that Matt Hyman said, I believe jokingly, that the CFL should only have Canadian players. Well, they do have a league that's only Canadian players. It's called U Sports. So if you really want to see all the best talented Canadian players playing in Canada, go watch the Bears. It's right here in Edmonton down at
that's a good point.
If you really want to watch Canadian content, go watch the Bears. Go get the CanadaWest.tv package. Watch the Huskies. Watch UBC. Go down to Calgary. Watch the Dinos. It's right there. That's the best Canadian talent that's in Canada. The rest that go south of the border are trying to get to the NFL. If they come back to Canada, that's a bonus. But for the most part, the best of the best are playing right in your back door at Footfield. Please check them out.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, that's a whole other discussion we could do on watching.
It's great
football.
I
want to watch live hockey. I can't afford a $300 ticket. Okay, go to the Oil Kings or the Golden Bears.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't like, well, okay, so you're saying you just like NHL. But yeah, if you want Canadian talent, there's ways to see Canadian talent. Anyway, good discussion.
Very good discussion.
And I know people will disagree with me on this. And I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying that I've thought about this. So I'm probably going to have a rebuttal to whatever is offered, which is fine. Okay.
Canadian football players are paid, by the way. They get scholarship money. So there you go.
Okay. 780-218-9999, the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. Keep clicking that thumbs up if you're taking us in on YouTube. Oil understood for GCL Diesel when we get back after the 4 o'clock break.
The Lock Shop.
I love hitting post-game shows, especially after bad losses. So I said, listen, EST is going to be insane. And he goes, Dusty's on one right now. I'm like, oh, really?
We were at Hudson's last night. Game ended. I paid my tab, and I was walking out, and I was just like, you know what, Tommy, I got to hop on. I have a few things to say. Did you get there before or after I said Ryan Nugent-Hopkins looks like a guy who's ready to retire?
The Lock Shop, weekday mornings at 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Your home for great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino.
My mother used to let us not lock the doors. She's like, if you're locking the doors inside of the house, it means you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. Yeah, that's why we lock the doors.
Host of the Bad Friends and Whiskey Ginger podcast, don't miss Andrew Santino, Freeze Peach, live at the River Cree May 22nd.
Michael, what are you doing? We have locks on the outside of the house to keep criminals from coming inside. There's no criminals inside of this house. Yes, there are, Karen.
Get your tickets at rivercreeresort.com. Excitement, bet on it.
You've heard the name, but what does it mean?
For over 66 years, William Huff Advertising has supplied signage from screen printing to digital to LED with design, production, and install in-house. It's a one-stop shop for all your signage needs. Edmonton owned and operated, William Huff has been trusted by the biggest companies and teams in the City of Champions and many others across the country to do the job. If you're looking for a way to get the word out about your company or event, they are the answer. Go to www.williamhuff.com. Their results speak for themselves.
Play more tables and games.
Play more tables and games. Make the most of your fan game. Oh, you want to, you need to, you know just what you gotta do. It's time to add some fun to your life. Make the most of your fan game. Play more tables and games.
PlayMoreGames.ca.
Four games throughout the NHL slate. Ottawa trails 2-0 in their series, entering Game 3 against Toronto. Max Pacioretty makes his way back to the Leafs lineup. Elsewhere, Vegas and Minnesota are tied at 1 ahead of Game 3 as the Jets look to take on the Blues to go up 3-0 in their series, with Game 2, Panthers and Lightning going down. Tampa dropping Game 1 by a score of 6-2. And from Edmonton, Luke Pierce's time as the head coach of the Oil Kings is up, as the team has announced that they will not be renewing his contract. Then the NBA has a trio of Game 3s. New York visits Detroit, with the Knicks dropping Game 2. That series is tied at 1 apiece. The Grizzlies hit the court down 2-0 to the Thunder, while the Clippers and Nuggets clash in a tied series. 2 games alive in baseball. Rockies-Royals playing their second game of the day. It's runless in the second, while the Brewers hold the Giants 5-4 in the top of the 8th inning. I'm Zachary Kubish. That was your sports update. You're locked and loaded right here on The Reid Wilkins Show.
Okay, 4:07 in the afternoon. How you doing today? Oilers traveling home today from Los Angeles. Kings coming to Edmonton. Game 4 tomorrow at Rogers Place, 8 o'clock game. So the Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne extended until 6:30 tomorrow. And then the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show will go from 6:30 to 8. Tom's going to be live from the Ice House in Ice District Plaza for the pregame show and the postgame show, as the Oilers try to get back in the series, which is going to be tough, given how LA has controlled most of the action to this point. As we dive into the Oil Understood for GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors, they are the critical engine component experts. Proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years, and now a partner of Edmonton Sports Talk and the Reid Wilkins Show. GCL Diesel. Diesel. Understood. Okay. Where do I start here with some clips from Chris Knobloch? Here's Knobloch on the Oilers giving up too many grade A chances.
You know, we spend very little time on our defensive zone coverage. We are, you know, when it is, you typically think about your system, your coverage when they have the puck, but it plays just off of breakouts, whether we turn it off, we make a bad pass. You know, there's been several of those, game 1 and game 2. And then, so it's not necessarily the coverage, it's the just recovering after a change of possession where we're getting on the wrong side, and we got to be able to protect the dangerous ice, because obviously that's the most important.
All right, so what he's basically saying is we're not giving up grade A chances because we can't cover in our own end. We're giving up grade A chances because we're turning the puck over and it's coming back at us quickly, and then we're not reacting to that. So the simple answer is just don't turn the puck over in your own end. I mean, that's led to 2, 3. I'm trying to think of all the goals now. There's so many to remember. I mean, certainly the Bouchard in front of the net, Bouchard up the wall in game 1 didn't help either. You could even say that board battle yesterday involving Draisaitl, Nurse, McDavid flying the zone, and then LA's got a quick little 2-on-1 coming in. Certainly the Arvidsson turnover. I mean, Arvidsson fans on the puck, bad enough. It goes into the corner. Arvidsson probably doesn't need to go with Kulak into the corner. He can probably turn around and look who's coming. I think Emerson's in front of the net. He doesn't do anything to seal off Kempe either, and he's got a shot from a great spot that he scores on. So basically what we're saying, and this has plagued the Oilers much of this season, is self-inflicted wounds. They turn the puck over. They turn the puck over in dangerous areas of the ice. And LA is feasting on that. Yes, everybody who makes it all about goaltending, the Oilers need more saves along the way. They also need to clean up what they're doing with the puck.
Yeah, sure. That's great that you can say that. And I mean, obviously that is an issue. I don't want to be redundant today, but I think I'm going to have to be.
I think we have to be. We're talking about the series.
But when is that going to change? How are you going to change that?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, and I mean this down to us. Like, I mean this literally. You stay the night. You get up, you fly home, they go home to see their families, you come in for morning skate. Is that it? Is that the time? Is there any video session? Is there any work? Is there any preparation to say, hey, this is what we're doing. We can't do that. We need to do this better. Film work. I don't know. But to just say, yeah, we're just going to have to be better.
Well, no, I think it'll be emphasized. I think there will be video. I think there'll be select clips saying, okay, first of all, here's where the puck needs to go.
Yeah.
Okay, if we're here, remember, guys, the puck needs to go here. Not cross ice, not in front of our own net. This is how we're going to get the puck out. And then I think they also have to emphasize, all right, if we do goof up, where does everybody go to recover?
Yep.
So limit the goof ups and then be better at recovering. But as I've said from an LA point of view, has LA, I put it out there to people. I don't know if anybody texted in or I didn't see anything in the nasty chat. I know we got into the CFL stuff with the commissioner, but can somebody name to me an egregious turnover committed by the Los Angeles Kings? Because even teams that are playing really well sometimes still make a really bad turnover. I can't remember one. Like when the Oilers have scored, they've really had to earn it. They've had to force the action. They've either had to have had a spectacular third period by their best player or like really, really work at it. Like Arvidsson had to dig in front of the net and get that deflection yesterday. You know, the Oilers.
But that was a 3-2 game, with 16 minutes left in the third.
Yeah.
That game was in reach. And then compounding mistakes and compounding errors lead to it's over. Very fast.
Do you think that the Oilers are pressing? And I'll define what I need by pressing because it is kind of a cliche word. Like, do you think they know that they're on the back heel in the series? So they're feeling like, oh my God, we can't be patient. We got to try and get something done.
Yes.
Oh crap, Knobloch has put Connor on the PK. Oh, when I'm out 5-on-5, I got to try to hit a home run. Like even that play Arvidsson is trying to make. Well, he's trying to go cross. I mean, if he is trying to throw that up the boards or skate it up the boards, it's probably a safer play. I'm not saying he couldn't have still turned it over or had it wind up in the net. So, and then even like Connor McDavid is capable of playing good defensive hockey. You know, in that play in the second period, it's 1-0. You don't need to fly the zone. You know, well, like Todd McClellan always had a lot of wise things to say, I think, and he would always say, "You have 60 minutes to win the game." In the regular season, you have 65 plus a skills competition if you need it. In the playoffs, you'd say you got 60 minutes and 4,000 minutes of overtime if you need it. Don't give the game away. The LA Kings are very, very good. They're initiating things on their own through their own play. And then plus, the Oilers are the team making the mistakes. So that play in the second period, McDavid doesn't need to fly the zone. You know,
you're talking on the Byfield goal.
Yes, Nurse doesn't need to go with like Laferriere is thinking, oh, puck battle. Even though the puck is 170 feet from my net, I have to be on the defensive side of the puck. All Nurse has to do is like, okay, I'll stay on the defensive side of the puck. If the puck goes back to Laferriere, okay, I step up and check him. If the puck squirts towards me, Byfield doesn't get it, I get it. But instead, Connor's gone. Nurse is on the other side. Bush, who's not a brilliant defender, can't do anything to negate the 2-on-1. And then Skinner, a big goaltender, gets beat up high. So, like,
so that's compounding errors due to them pressing.
And this is
due to them feeling like they're from behind.
Right. And this is why I often say, okay, figure it out. Well, part of figuring it out is, okay, maybe the Kings got the initiative. Maybe they're this great home ice team and they always win at home. Okay, well then be patient.
Yes.
Look at the score. You don't have to look at the scoreboard and be like, well, we're down 1-0. We got to start shooting threes. We better try and get 10 breakaways in the next 5 minutes. Okay.
You know what? Yeah. You know what happens when you're pressing? When you're playing like you're playing from behind, is you start to do things outside your comfort zone. You start to press. You start to say, oh, I got to make up for this guy's mistake. Or, oh, Connor's leaving the zone. Nurse, I got to rush up the wall and poke that puck to him. All the while not doing your job. You can't let that compound and cause a chain reaction, a domino effect of people not doing their job or doing what they think they have to do because somebody else is doing something they shouldn't be doing. Right? Do your job. Simplify. Reid, take a deep breath and just say, okay, we got to play our game. It feels like they're being pressed into playing some other kind of game, a catch-up style game.
And this is why I don't like Connor McDavid being on the PK.
Sure.
And I realize that people are thinking, Reid, he made a rush and Connor Brown shorthanded had probably the Oilers' third or fourth best scoring chance of the game. Actually made, a shot that Kemper had to sort of fight off with the shoulder. But if you're doing that, if you're putting Connor McDavid on the ice shorthanded, I realize you can argue, well, tactically, Reid, they're trying to take advantage of 5 forwards. But I look at it as saying, oh my God, we can't score 5-on-5. I need Connor to steal the puck and get a shorthanded breakaway. And I think that affects the mindset for the entire team. And look, McDavid is not a good penalty killer. Of everything he can do, I wouldn't list him as a prolific penalty killer. So why even put him in that situation?
Well, and think of what the Kings are saying. They have to put him out there because they think that's the only way they can get a score.
Right.
A goal is because they can take advantage of our 5 forwards being on the ice.
Right.
How petty is that? How much trouble do they think they're in? Maybe they're beat already. Let's hammer it. Let's keep going. Let's push it. Let's push the pace. Putter in the Nasty Chat makes a great point. The next 2 games will be a huge test of character. And I think that's very accurate. You're going to see they test their mettle. They're in a hard spot. How are you going to respond?
I'm not saying this to be overly argumentative about that. I'm just going to use a different word.
You're going to disagree with the term character.
More than character.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I'm going to say it might be a test of composure.
Yeah, okay. Which is fair.
Because I don't think they have like bad character in terms of being lazy or weak-willed or anything like that. I think it's going to be a good test of composure. Your backs, you're down 2-0. You've been outplayed for at least 4 of the 6 periods. You've certainly been outscored in most of them. Can you go back to playing a steady game? Can you try to say, okay, LA is not giving us grade A scoring chances. We have to earn them. We have to have the same mindset. And then maybe if it comes down to grade to high-end players creating chances, then you maybe say like, okay, 1-1 with 10 minutes left in the third period, we think more often than not Connor's going to make the play more than Kopitar or Kempe if we're not giving Kopitar and Kempe any room.
Yes. Dumb it down. Seriously, strip it away and just get back to basics and playing your style of hockey. And there's been 2 people that have now, well, more than 2 people, but recently 2 people that say, and I don't think it's a bad statement, is I think getting up early, getting out of the gates hard, maybe getting the first goal would be a huge, huge boost.
Well because I believe the Kings are flying. I don't know if the Kings are going to be easily deterred, but at least make them play from behind.
Make them put in the effort.
Like I've been saying, every goal is a party. Yeah. I know I've been kind of half jokingly ripping on this Clark kid, But I mean, why wouldn't he be excited?
Sure.
Because he's sitting there, holy crap. It's one thing that Kempe and Kopitar are scoring, but I'm getting in on it. Look at Kuzmenko. 3 months ago, he's like, my career's in a dead end. Now I'm doing these bird motion signs when my team scores. And I'm like, they are just in love and life right now. And the Oilers are just trying to climb uphill backwards.
They scored 12 goals in 2 games.
More from Knobloch, Kulak, and Hiller. We got to take a quick timeout. Former NHL goaltender, now a broadcaster, Marty Biron is going to check in.
The Oil Kings have not renewed head coach Luke Pierce's contract for next season, with Pierce being the head coach of the team since the 2022-23 season. And there's a few Game 3 matchups in the NHL. The Jets look to go up 3-0 over the Blues. The Sens and Leafs battle. Toronto leaving that one 2-0, with the Leafs inserting Max Pacioretty back to the lineup before the Knights and Wild face off. That series is locked at 1-1. Elsewhere, Game 2, Florida-Tampa goes down. The Panthers took the opening game by a score of 6-2. And on the court, there's a slate of Game 3s. The Clippers and Nuggets throw down with the series locked at 1 apiece. OKC holds the Grizzlies at 2-0, while the Knicks and Pistons go toe-to-toe. Detroit tying that series in Game 2. Baseball has 2 games live, including San Francisco trailing Milwaukee by a run in the bottom of the 8th inning. This sports update is brought to you by Clover Bar Feeds. Clover Bar Feeds has all the animal feed you'll need. Get top-notch service and selection from their family-owned business. Visit Clover Bar Feeds at 200 Portage Close in Sherwood Park, or call them at 780-467-5014. Marty Biron joins the boys once we get back from break. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
Got some gently used furniture or home goods that need a new home? Find Edmonton is here to help. Every month we furnish over 100 homes to those transitioning out of homelessness, and we need your gently used furniture and home goods. Drop off at 5120 122nd Street or call for free local pickup. Just visit findedmonton.com to learn how your donations can help create a home for someone in need. Plus, shop our thrift store, in-store or online, with proceeds benefit those moving out of homelessness through housing supports. Visit us at findedmonton.com. Find Edmonton, supporting our community one home at a time.
Craving a late night snack? Hit the Banquet for our new late night happy hour. Sunday to Thursday, 9 p.m. till close. Try favorites like sweet and spicy lettuce wraps or our Banquet burger and fries, all at happy hour prices. The Banquet. Get real. Play hard.
Your home for great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino.
My mother used to let us not lock the doors. She's like, if you're locking the doors inside of the house, it means you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. Yeah, that's why we lock the doors.
Host of the Bad Friends and Whiskey Ginger podcast, don't miss Andrew Santino, Freeze Peach, live at the River Cree May 22nd.
Michael, what are you doing? We have locks on the outside of the house to keep criminals from coming inside. There's no criminals inside of this house. Yes, there are, Karen.
Get your tickets at rivercreeresort.com. Excitement, bet on it.
And there they go to Sentinel Storage. The snowblower and winter gear goes in. They shoot, we store.
Need extra space? Store your winter gear with Sentinel Storage and win extra space at home. Try 4 weeks free at sentinelstorage.ca. Proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
All right, hope you're having a great afternoon. I know you're fretting about the Edmonton Oilers. We'll see if they can show a little more life tomorrow night at Rogers Place. Jay and I are coming to you from the Banquet Studio. Celebrate your birthday at the Banquet Bar. Amazing drinks, great vibes, and unforgettable memories. Book your party today at thebanquetbar.com. We love having this gentleman on the program, former NHL goaltender, now a broadcaster. I guess on Canada, you mostly will see him on TSN. I think he was just on RDS, and he's fitting us in. He's a busy guy. Love having him on. It's Marty Biron checking in. Marty, it's Reid and Jay. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. Yes, I was just on RDS. Little French action over there talking about the Montreal Canadiens. But I did speak about Stuart Skinner, Calvin Pickard, the Oilers as well. So there's a lot to chew on for sure.
Well, it's fun watching the Canadian teams. I mean, there are some interesting storylines for all 5 of them. So, yeah, I'm glad there's interest in little old Edmonton out in Montreal, because maybe I didn't think we were going to start there, but you brought up the Habs. Now, look, Jay and I aren't. We see the Habs, but obviously we're talking Oilers so much. But I just look at the Habs, and I know they're down 2-0. But I'm like, they're just an energetic, we're not going to go away team. Maybe they're just not going to be good enough in the end to beat Washington. But from what I've seen in that series, I don't know, maybe plucky is the word. Like they just do not go away.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? They're a glass half full type of team. Like, despite their issues, you see the positive in them. And it's the opposite with the Oilers, right? Like, you see all the issues, even though maybe there's some positive there. So I look at the Canadians. They have one really strong line. Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, Uri Slafkovsky. And Slafkovsky is kind of like the third wheel. He's there sometimes, he's not. But Lane Hudson is fun to watch. But I'm looking at Lane Hudson a little differently now. Like, you're not just a rookie anymore. You've played a full year. You should be playing at a high level in the playoffs. And he's not there yet. So obviously there's some things that I pick on him a little bit. Defensively, the Canadians are not as strong in front of Montembeault. So he's had to be really good. But yeah, I mean, it's fun to watch the Montreal Canadiens like overachieve this season. And it gives a fun boost in the East Coast for sure.
Okay, so you mentioned Skinner. Goaltending has been a pretty big talking point all season and now in the playoffs as well. I want to ask you a question, though, because a lot of fans here have been like, was Skinner smiling during the stoppage? What was he doing? What was Marty Biron's routine during a TV timeout or between whistles to keep yourselves focused?
It changed a lot over my career. Because, you know, different things during the commercial breaks happen, like where they were cleaning the ice. They never did that before. I used to stay in my crease, and then you had to get out of your crease. I actually saw Henrik Lundqvist one time almost want to get in a fight with a shovel ice maintenance person because he was in his crease, and that shovel hit his skates, and he was losing it. But now you got to get out of your crease. And I find it that towards the end of my career, I was a little bit more relaxed. Like, I would sometimes skate to the bench. I'd be talking to the guys on the ice. And often it wasn't about the game. It's just a couple of minutes to kind of disconnect a little bit mentally, right? But if you do this, you better reconnect really quickly and be good. Some goalies have to stay in for the whole 60 plus minutes of the game, 3.5, 4 hours, whatever it is going to take. For me, I like to be able to unplug. So if something was funny in the stands, one time, we were playing in Montreal, and my parents were sitting right there in the 100 level. I'm like, look at my mom and dad. My dad's got a full beer. And, it's like, you can do this, but obviously you don't want to have a mic on because you don't want anybody to listen to it. But you also better be making the saves after the commercial break. You better be focused when it counts.
Well, and that's the thing with Stu and everything going on with the Oilers now. When you're not winning, you can't win. Everything looks like you're doing the wrong thing. But it is like, don't be offended. Goalies are weird, different. Yeah. Sorry, but I mean, I agree. It's a discussion point, maybe how Stu was reacting. But then you also see these goalies like during TV timeouts, like they go in the corner and they hunch over and they got their head down. And sometimes when I see that, I'm like, does this guy even like being in the NHL? Like, is it just miserable?
So in Buffalo, Devin Levi, obviously Team Canada, Devin Levi, and he's a very high prospect, kind of like Dustin Wolf in Calgary, smaller but athletic. And Levi goes to the high slot and he basically meditates on his knees. And the reason why he does that is he remembers the Phantom Menace, the movie, the Star Wars, like the original one or whatever. And it's like when they're fighting the menace and there's these kind of screens that come down and he just sits there and meditates before the battle. That's what Devin Levi, I'm telling you this. I said it to a few people where I'm like, I wonder if Devin Levi is going to do this his whole career. Because at one point it becomes draining mentally to always be like 100% focus. So you got to kind of loosen it up a little bit. But yeah, there's some goalies that do it. Braden Holtby was the worst. Holtby's routine from the time he got to the rink all the way until he left the rink, it was like a 5-6 hour window. Like I was exhausted watching a little documentary on him because I'm like, how does he do this and stay focused the whole time? Like, I couldn't do this.
Marty Biron joining us here on the Reid Wilkins Show. Marty, I got to ask you this, and I just want to know. It's just a question I have for a goalie that played in some pretty big games. Last night, Oilers fans heard the Skinner chants raining down from the LA Kings faithful. When that happened and they're chanting your name and doing that, usually it's in a point where you've let in a goal and they think they're on top of you, as fans would think. A, do you hear that? And B, what does it do to you? Does it make you sulk and say, "Oh man, they're on me," or does it prop you up a bit and kind of fuel you?
The answer to A is yes. You hear it, absolutely. The answer to B is it depends what state of mind you're in. So I played against the Montreal Canadiens in the 2008 playoffs. Look, game 1 we lose, right? And then the fans were on top of me, Biron, and it's in Montreal. And I like, look, it had a little bit more, on the line, playing in front of my family and friends and everybody watching on TV. Game 2, they started it, and I made a couple of saves, and they kept on. And I was like, "I've got you now." Like you're trying to get me off my game, and I know that the more saves I'm going to make, the more you're going to yell my name, and I love it. And so I was able to make a little adjustment. Right, Stuart Skinner is not in the right frame of mind right now. He's second guessing everything he does. So you hear it, and you're like, "Man, this is heavy. This is like weights on your shoulders." I can guarantee you this. Logan Thompson goes into Montreal tomorrow night for game 3. He makes a couple of saves early in the game, and the fans are going to yell, Thompson. He's going to be like, bring it. Now, if he gives up a couple of goals early and the fans are on him, it's completely different. So it depends on the situation. We all hear it. It's fun when you're playing well because you're like, hey, this is flattering. They want me to not do so well. They think I'm the reason the other team's not winning. But when you're not doing so well, it's very hard to overcome.
Yeah, I like how you explain that and you take us inside the crease for sure. Look, I think two things can be true. The Oilers are not getting enough saves, which they really didn't since kind of the Four Nations face-off. And they are also giving up too many chances. And Knobloch commented on that again today. Like, we can't turn the puck over, or if we do, we have to recover better. I mean, you played about 550 games, playoffs and regular season combined, and I'm sure some of your teams were better defensively than others. Like, as a goaltender, how much more comforting, if that's and I know as a goalie, you're like, it's my job to stop everything. Doesn't matter if it's 10 breakaways or shots from the point, but like, there must have been teams you played on where it's like, I know where these guys are going to be. I know there won't be a big, like, the trust factor maybe is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, when I was with the Rangers and John Tortorella was our coach my first 3 years, it was so easy. Like, I knew exactly where the threats were, and there was so many block shots, and there was so much of an emphasis put on playing in front of me, like, and Lundqvist and defending, and made the game easy. But I do remember also thinking, man, we have a great group of 6, and that makes it fun because anybody that stepped on the ice, that it was Ryan McDonough, Dan Girardi, Mark Stahl, that it was John Moore, that it didn't matter who it was. When they stepped on the ice, I knew we're all set, right? But there's also the other side of this is when I played for the New York Islanders and we didn't have a good team and our defense was not good. Like, it was just very leaky. They weren't protecting the front of the net at all. I got breakaways and 2-on-1s and guys coming in all alone. And I was like, what is going on here? And now sometimes I was giving up 3 or 4 goals in a game and I was like, well, I played pretty well and my defense is just not good, right? That's not a good place to be. Now, when I see Quentin Byfield taking the puck off the wall and getting in all alone, untouched to the front of the net and scoring, I'm like, Stuart Skinner's got to look around and say, hey, Boosh, what are you doing? Like, don't worry about the guy that's 45 feet to my right. Like, how about you come in and you take the ice away from Byfield and help me out here? So the Oilers' defense is not good right now. And Matthias Ekholm not being there is a big hole. Like, Bush has not looked himself. Nurse with Bouchard doesn't seem to work. Then they try Kulak and Bouchard, and they tried everything, and it's not working. Why? Because I think Matthias Ekholm is he's not Cale Makar and he's not Victor Hedman, but still he brings everything back to where they need to be.
Marty, there's 3 Canadian teams that are down 0-2. There's Montreal, there's Ottawa, and there's Edmonton. In your opinion, I mean, because you're a professional. You got to be able to answer these questions, okay? Which team do you think has the best chance of coming back in their series to ultimately win it?
That was my hit on TSN today, and it was the Montreal Canadiens, because I feel like the Canadiens are just one shot away. Like, they took the first game to OT. The second game, Jake Evans has a wide open net. He hits the post. Maybe that goes to OT as well. Maybe it's 2-2. Pierre-Luc Dubois has done a great job for Washington against Nick Suzuki. Now they're going home. I think Montreal can win a couple games at home, and then it's like, okay, best out of 3. Everything is fine. So I think Montreal is the best chance. Ottawa's got a chance, but the thing with Ottawa is they're going to have to be threatening offensively. Like, defensively, the first game, Allmark wasn't great, but it was better in game 2. They went to OT, and I feel like they're trending the right direction. So, but the Leafs are a good team. So I'm saying the Ottawa Senators, maybe. The Oilers, I just don't see it. Like, I don't think they can win both games at home. I think they can win one, and then all of a sudden you go back to LA for game 5, and LA is the best team on home ice, and I don't think you get back to Edmonton for game 6. So I just find it that if it trends the same way, the Oilers are going to be done in 5 games, and that's going to be a really tough pill to swallow for Oilers coaches, management, and players if that happens.
And for the audience of this program.
Yeah,
we try to
you
comfort,
too as well.
we try to comfort as much as we can. Marty,
listen, I'm on vacation in Buffalo. We didn't make the playoffs for 14 straight years. So I'd love to lose in 5 in the first round once in a while, right?
Yeah, Well, Edmonton had the decade of darkness. Buffalo's almost at a decade and a half. That's another story. Marty, we love having you. You're so generous with your time. You're always great about getting back to me and accommodating us. So we really appreciate that. I know the audience loves you. You're getting a lot of love in our chat and on our text line. We love the way how you break things down. We know you got to go watch more hockey or spend time with your family, but thank you so much for coming on the Reid Wilkins Show.
I want to go watch the Panthers and the Lightning, but yes, I hear them upstairs. I think dinner is going to be ready, and I've been watching a lot of hockey, and my girls are like, "Is there games on every night?" I'm like, "Yes, there is." So sorry. And on Saturday and Sundays, it's all day. It's not just at night. So that's the way it goes.
You're the best. Thank you so much for your time.
Have a good one, guys. Thank you.
Marty Biron checking in here. Man, oh man, he's good. Like, I just love how he explains stuff. Pretty candid.
Very.
He said, hey, the chanting, the goalie does hear that. Maybe it could bug a guy if he's having an off night. And I think that's a good reminder that these guys are humans. They're adults. They're finely trained athletes. Their mental game is obviously pretty good. But sometimes it just might be a little thing that bugs you a little bit that could affect your performance. I think he was pretty honest and pretty blunt about the Oilers. But it's kind of, I mean, you and I haven't said, oh, it's going to end in this night. But it's a good, like, it's going to be hard for the, this is what I often said last year when the Oilers started 2-9 or whatever it was. And then they got to the Stanley Cup final and got down 3-0. And I said, I'm going to say the same thing. And now I'll say the same thing today. Win a game.
Yes.
That's the goal. Win a game.
The next game. Preferably.
Well, preferably, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not quite a must win, but
it's a can't lose.
It's a gotta have it tomorrow. It's a gotta have it. But no, Marty was great, and he was pretty honest. He said, like, in his career, he played on lousy defensive teams where he just knew, well, I might let in 4 and still have to look at my game and say that I did pretty well. But that was interesting what he said about playing for a good defensive Rangers team. I knew they were going to block shots. The 6 defensemen were good. I could trust all of them. And what did he say? I knew where the threats were.
Yeah.
And I think that would be the challenge of playing goal for the Oilers, is that you don't always know where the threats are. And again, like, whenever I bring this up, people say, oh, you're letting the goalies off the hook. No, I'm not. The Oilers goaltenders, and it's been mostly Skinner in this series, need more saves. Your job is to bail out your team sometimes. But I will say this, okay, let's put yourself in the goal last night. Oh, Arvy's got the puck. There's no forecheck from the Kings. Oh, geez, it's in our... Oh,
yeah.
Kempe's all alone shooting on me. So it goes from 3 seconds, it should be a clear, and then it's in... And the way he broke down the Byfield goal was good. Because we've said, what should a Bouchard done on that play? And he basically said, you got to challenge Byfield. You know, if he can get that pass across, he gets the pass across. But Biron didn't feel that whoever was on that other side of the ice was as dangerous as Byfield walking in. That's how he put it. I know other people might see it different ways, but he explained it.
Yeah, and don't forget you're turning the puck over to Adrian Kempe. You're not turning it over to Trevor Moore.
Yeah, well, Kopitar too that passed it to Kempe, right? Yeah.
I mean, that's a dynamic playmaker. That is a skilled shooter.
Yeah,
a marksman. Those chances you can't let those chances happen that often, for sure. And everybody loves. It's funny. You can tell how much our listeners love Marty because they're like, oh, I wish you didn't say that. I wish you didn't. But darn it, I like that guy.
Well, but I mean, he made
the truth is hard sometimes.
I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead of game 3, but
win the next one.
The Oilers got to win 4 of the next 5.
Yep.
Right now, it looks hard enough to win 1.
Oilers in 6, Reid.
It's still possible.
There you go.
It's still possible until it's impossible.
We're both optimistics.
I'm trying to be Well, what did I say last night?
Optimistic.
The most hope I can offer is that game 3 starts 0-0.
There you go. Oh, you're starting to sound like I want it.
You're right. But the one thing I think I've been consistent with this over the years, when the Oilers have been leading a series, I haven't been like, oh, it's over, just hand them the series. You still got to go up there and earn it. LA has to repeat their performance. Right now, they look like they will. But yeah, clearly the Oilers got a lot to clean up. So, game at 8 tomorrow, GCL Diesel Oil Stream. 6:30 tomorrow night. We're going to extend our show until 6:30. Okay, I better catch up on some emails. Limerick coming in from Jeff in YYZ to read at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. The score last night, it did suck. It led Oilers fans to yell, fork. A mistyped letter or two. This Limerick won't do. On Friday, hopefully better puck luck. Oh, that's clever.
Very good.
That's meta. Bronco Nick with a Limerick as well. Oilers were handed their butt. Seems like they're all in a rut. Belief is strong. Prove doubters wrong. Let's go punch them in the gut.
There's an optimistic as well. I said we were optimistics.
Optimists. I didn't even catch that you said that.
You know what, Reid?
Oh, well.
I wrote that down. That's a goof up.
You wrote optimistics down?
That's my goof up. Yeah. Let's see if you can catch me.
People can text us on the afternoon inbox, 780-218-9999, presented by River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the Kitchen Restaurant, all-you-can-eat prime rib buffet for just $49.99 every Sunday from 4 to 10 p.m. All right, got to get to some more clips here from Knobloch, Kulak, and Hiller, buying or selling for Damon Bunting. Coming up, the afternoon debate for Edmonton Garrison Memorial Golf and Curling Club. We'll talk about our game of the night. One game is already starting here, Tampa Bay and Florida. Still a busy final hour and a bit here on the Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne.
4 games in the NHL. Panthers Lightning face off in game 2 in mere moments. Florida took the opener in that one by a score of 6-2. And after that, Toronto looks to take a 3-0 series lead over the Senators, while the Golden Knights and Wild meet in Game 3. That one's tied at 1 apiece. And the Oil Kings have announced that they will not be renewing head coach Luke Pierce's contract, with Pierce being the head coach of the team since the 2022-23 season. Basketball has a few Game 3s of their own, having OKC visit Memphis, the Thunder leading 2-0, while the Knicks and Pistons are tied at 1 apiece. And for the Cavs, Evan Mobley has won the NBA Defensive Player of the Year award. In baseball, there's one game live. The Rockies down 2-0 to the Royals in their second game of the day. First one saw Kansas City winning 7-4. This sports update is brought to you by Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy. Get treated like a pro with their highly skilled crew. Whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance your performance, get the same locker room approach that's trusted by the best in the game. Visit their website at advantagesportmed.ca. We return with the Reid Wilkins Show after brief intermission. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
You've always known GCL Diesel as the experts in diesel fuel systems, but did you know that GCL is also your source for turbochargers and turbo repair? As a turbo supplier for Garrett, Borg Warner, and Wholesat, GCL can provide genuine original equipment turbos at wholesale prices. Whether it's diesel, gas, natural gas, or performance, we can provide you with the turbo or custom repair you require. Turbo questions? We've got turbo answers. Visit us in the West End or online at gcldiesel.com. GCL Diesel, turbochargers, understood.
Downsizing, upsizing, or staging your home to sell? Sentinel Storage is Edmonton's team for affordable storage solutions. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
Sentinel Storage, proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
Okay, Florida and Tampa Bay are underway. We have the game on the ESTV here in the studio at the Edmonton Sports Talk Global HQ in the Mayfield neighborhood of Edmonton. 2.5 minutes in, no score. Tampa Bay is on a power play. Florida leading the series 1-0. If you are taking us in on YouTube, we thank you. Subscribe to the Edmonton Sports Talk channel if you haven't already, and give us your daily thumbs up. That's something you got to do every day. It's not just a one-time thing. You got to click that every day. We're almost at 1:30, and then let's get to 1:35 for double word of the day territory.
Click, click, click. Must you click? Please, please click. Must you click? You must click. Thumb, thumb, thumb.
All right. Great stuff, guys. Thanks.
If everybody clicked right now, Reid, where would we be?
If everybody clicked right now, we'd be double word of the day. We'd be probably teasing 200 thumbs, which we would still love to get to. But let's focus on, for right now, getting to 155 as quickly as possible.
Oh, you.
Very, very achievable. Well, we start with the first down to get the drive going. Then we start thinking end zone.
Wow, I'm just looking right now. For the Lightning to win this game, they're plus 130.
Did you hear I did a Reid Wilkins suggestion on the lock shop?
Yeah, you took Ottawa tonight.
Ottawa straight up. $5 bet, and I think you win $8.30 or $8.80 or something
Ottawa's
like that.
favored.
They should be. Why not?
They're down 2-0.
They're at home. I don't care. Okay.
Tampa Bay must have scored because the odds just changed dramatically.
Are you serious?
Maybe they're back.
Okay. Well, yeah, because this TV is a little bit... Because we had people texting in the Capitals Canadian scores about goals about 30 seconds before we saw them.
Maybe Florida did something.
So much for live television.
So much.
Brett Kulak on the power play success for the Los Angeles Kings in the series.
They seem to be just keeping it simple. They're getting shots to the net, and like I talked about the areas around the net. They got another rebound last night. They're passing pucks through the seam. They're making nice plays. But I think for the most part, they have a pretty simple recipe, and it seems to be getting pucks to the net.
Wow, Florida just scored long one-timer beating Vasilevsky. Did Schmidt shoot that?
That was a one-timer.
I think that's his third goal of the series already.
There was no screen. It just walked right by Vasilevsky.
Yeah.
Who has not looked good thus far.
Well, no, speaking of goaltending, he has not looked great in this series. And you could see him kind of give a bit of a eye roll.
Like you got.
So he was slow moving across, and then he moved across, and the puck went back to where he was.
Whew.
Yeah, that's a tough
That's
one.
why the line changed.
So 1-0 for Florida now in that game. A little bit more from Kulak. He was asked about all the goals the Oilers have been giving up in the series.
Yeah, I think lots of the goals are coming just pucks in tight around the net or passes coming through the crease. So I think that part of the ice needs to be protected better.
Well, yeah, probably, and don't give the puck away. So the other team doesn't come in and score. Buying or selling here, presented by Damon Bunting, a consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 17 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven, he understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, Instagram handle, Damon Bunting Real Estate. Knobloch, are you contemplating a starting goalie change for tomorrow?
Well, we knew throughout the series, if we're fortunate enough to play through June, that most likely we're going to make a switch at some time. But we haven't made a decision as of now. Unfortunate for Skinner because I don't think any of those goals are. He's in a difficult situation. I don't think there's. The amount of chances are low, the shots, but the quality of shots, chances were high. And that's not easy for the goaltender. You can have some of those once in a while, but just too many, so it's just unfortunate for him. But that's something we'll have to decide.
All right, so buying or selling, they go with Pickard tomorrow.
Buying. I think their hands are tied here.
Yeah.
Stu Skinner's 0-2. At this point, you can't even say it's because of a lack of just in general defense, team defense from the Oilers. It's just you have an opportunity to maybe swing, change the momentum of this series.
Yeah.
And making a goaltending change is usually a high, box to check on that list.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Pickard has a different energy in there. Maybe he's more confident than Skinner. I mean, Biron referenced that as well, that we've seen Stuart Skinner appear to be a bolder goalie at other times in his career. So maybe Pickard has that. I mean, he does have that sort of scrappiness to him. And I know I've seen throughout the day watching our chat and listening to our shows, I know there's a lot of opinions out there, a lot of armchair coaching when it's going bad. Look, Bouchard's not going to get scratched. Nuge is not going to get scratched. Putting Noah Philp into the lineup is not going to change the course of the series. Putting Cam Dineen into the lineup is not going to change the course of the series. They're not going to scratch guys who usually play a lot. So the easiest, first of all, play of the goaltending aside, the easiest thing to do is just change the goalie and hope maybe he makes the big save at the right time and gives your team some energy, just like you're hoping Vander Kane or whoever makes a good play at the right time at the other end of the rink. I think it's Pickard tomorrow, and then it's TBD for Game 4.
Can I throw a curveball at you?
Yes.
Okay. Anthony on Long Island, and I just want to address this because I know it's come up on all the shows. This is the Read-a-thon, which you've been a part of all the shows, so you've probably heard this question brought up. And I want to hear your answer while I'm sitting here beside you because I didn't hear it, I don't think. But Anthony on Long Island, he sent me a tweet from Paul Bissonnette. Kings are the real deal. Oilers are on the ropes. Who starts for Edmonton next game? Is McDavid putting up with this much longer? It's ugly, he says. Reid, buying or selling that the Oilers are in danger of losing Connor McDavid?
Yeah, completely selling. Completely selling. First of all, let's remember he's not a free agent this summer. He can sign an extension this summer.
Yep.
I did talk about this last night, I think, with Tom. Well, and Dusty ranted on it a bit this morning as well. I don't know what it is. Now, for a while, the Oilers weren't good. I mean, they missed the playoffs in McDavid's rookie season. They got in his second year, and then they had 2 really disappointing non-playoff seasons. Since then, they've made the playoffs 6 years in a row. I believe in the previous, now I know they haven't won the cup, but I believe in the 3 previous seasons to this one, they've won the most playoff series of any team in the league. 6 total, right? 2, 1, and then 3. No, the point is to win the cup. But, I don't know why. I guess it's because the Oilers were so bad for so long and had other first overall draft picks. And maybe some people think that Edmonton is still this terrible place to live that players just want to leave all the time. So it took Ovechkin 13 years to win the Cup. I didn't see that narrative when they were getting eliminated and winning the President's Trophy and getting upset in the first or second round. How much more of this could Ovechkin take? You know, but so I don't know why it goes that way. And the thing with Bissonnette writing that is like they're not eliminated. Like you want to go to that, at least wait until they're actually out. I think it's silly. I think it's, quite frankly, immature. I think it's low-hanging fruit. I think it's empty sensationalism.
Yeah.
I
think it's clickbaity.
Yeah, it's clickbaity. Okay, the Leafs lose to Ottawa. Oh, how much more is Matthews going to take? You know, like,
well, how many millions?
Why does it only get directed at McDavid? You know, Draisaitl's re-signed, and maybe that'll have bearing on what McDavid does. Maybe it won't. But I mean, not every great player wins the Stanley Cup every year, because if they did, there'd be 15 Stanley Cup champions every season. So I don't get it. Maybe Bissonnette thought he was being funny by adding that to what was generally an accurate tweet besides that. But yeah, I just don't... I don't understand it. It's just, it's silly, and it's quite frankly, it's tiresome.
Yeah,
and I don't mind you asking me, but it is sort of a tiresome topic. Oh, they're eliminated. He's going to leave. What are you basing that on? Has he said that? You know, like who? What are you basing that on? So if, Bissonnette can run his own Twitter account. I don't really care what he tweets, though. Sorry.
No, that's fair. I knew what your answer was going to be, okay?
No, I know. I'm not.
But I just think it's important to share that. Now, Big Uke said something in here that we're going to have to look at on the break here, but he pretty much said the last 5 Stanley Cup champions and what they did the year before. And where they were knocked out, or even if they made the playoffs. Yeah, I'll show you this, and we can come up with our conclusion. But it's a journey. It takes time to do this, and you're right. This team's down 2 games. I get it. 1-10 in 7-game series when they're down 0-2.
Yeah,
I get it. But that's 1. There's 1-10. Us optimistics, we like to think that it could go 2-11. Why not? Until they're done, you need to realize that Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are on this team.
Yes.
That's it.
And that's the thing where I would say to Bissonnette, and I realize a lot of the discussion on this show has been about how the Oilers are getting vastly outplayed in this series, but they haven't lost the series. Like, why are you bringing up a discussion point related to them being eliminated when they're not eliminated? Like you could wind up eating your words,
Very much so.
So that's all I'm saying to that. We are 15 thumbs away from double word of the day territory with still an hour to go on the show, so don't wait. Get in the click. I want to read this reply to the off-topic topic for William Huff, which is, tell us about a time you were caught smiling or laughing at an inappropriate time. Okay, so this is a good one from RC in Ladner. Here we go. 30 years ago when I was 17, my grandfather remarried after my grandmother passed away about a year prior. His new bride was a lovely woman he had dated decades earlier while posted in Ontario during World War II. Needless to say, emotions were very high, even though we were all happy that he had rekindled old love. My uncle and I were his 2 groomsmen. During the rehearsal on the eve of the wedding, Grandpa bobbled and dropped her ring during the exchange. It skittered away and rolled back down the aisle. He awkwardly joked about how embarrassing it would be if it happened during the ceremony. Fast forward to the wedding the next day. When it came time for the rings, he glanced over at me with a smirk. I felt a chuckle coming on. I tried with all my might to hold it in, but to no avail. Within seconds, I was doubled over in laughter, tears streaming down my cheeks, and was soon joined by my fellow groomsman uncle in the giggle fit. Everyone thought we had broken down sobbing. Once it became clear to everyone that it was indeed laughter, the chain reaction ensued, bringing the entire congregation to join us in the laughing fit. It was definitely a tension breaker, and I'm happy to say the rest of the ceremony was lovely. RC and Ladner concludes by saying, thanks for resparking a fond old memory, guys. I needed it today. Well, we really appreciate your honesty and emotional story. Thank you.
Great writing.
That was good. We really appreciate that. That's why we do the off-topic topic. All right. I got another limerick to get to. We still have, I know I keep teasing more clips. We do have more clips. I want to play another Jim Hiller clip as well. We got our afternoon debate coming up, 5 o'clock break in the coop.
The EST Hangout.
To me, where they got spooked the most, and it had a massive ripple effect throughout the entire NHL officials community, was that St. Louis-San Jose series, the hand pass for the goal that wasn't reviewed and was allowed. They have not been the same since then. They were okay back then. Now they're just terrible across the board.
The EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage. Weekday mornings 9 to 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Spin to win Fridays at the Banquet. Every Friday, spin the wheel for a chance to win big and save on your bill. It's that easy. Spin, win, and save. Don't miss out. Details at thebanquetbar.com. The Banquet. Get real. Play hard.
At Mind360, we invite you to embark on your mental health journey in a safe and comfortable space. Conveniently located in St. Albert, Mind360 has a diverse team of experienced clinicians that offer a broad range of tailored services for children, adults, and families. Furthermore, we are very proud to serve our military, veterans, and first responders. If you're looking for counseling, treatment, or assessment, understand that you are not alone. Contact Mind360 at mind360.ca to book an appointment today.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know.
4 games in the NHL tonight. One game is live right now. Nate Schmidt has it 1-0 in Game 2 for the Panthers midway through the first. Florida holding the series over Tampa Bay 1-0. And later, Sens Leafs Game 3 goes. Ottawa trails 2-0 against Toronto. Max Pacioretty makes his way back to the Leafs lineup. And from Edmonton, Luke Pierce's time as the head coach of the Oil Kings is up as the team has announced that they will not be renewing his contract. The NBA sees a trio of Game 3s. New York visits Detroit with the Knicks dropping Game 2. That series is tied at 1 apiece. The Grizzlies hit the court down 2-0 to the Thunder, while the Clippers and Nuggets clash in a tied series. And for the Cavs, Evan Mobley has won the NBA Defensive Player of the Year award. 2 games are live in the MLB. Rockies-Royals playing their second of the day. It's 5-0 Kansas City, while in the top of the second, it's runless between the Orioles and the Nationals. I'm Zachary Kubich. That was your sports update. The third and final hour of the Reid Wilkins Show starts right now.
Must you click? Click. Must you click?
All right, yeah. The reminder to click that thumbs up button if you're taking in the show on the Edmonton Sports Talk YouTube stream. Subscribe to Edmonton Sports Talk on YouTube if you haven't already. We're trying to drive those numbers up as well. You can also get us through EdmontonSportsTalk.com, the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn Radio app. You can favorite the station or make it a preference or whatever they do on those apps as well. So it's really easy to bring us up whenever you go into the app. And wherever you get your podcasts, subscribe to each individual show, the Reid Wilkins Show, the Nielsen Show, the Lock Shop, EST Afternoons with Hernan and Gager, the Oil Stream, Two Guys on a Goalie, the Hangout. Get them all there. Don't miss a minute of the action here on EST. And we have a lot of action, especially on playoff game days, extended coverage for these 8 o'clock starts. So tomorrow we will be with you until 6:30 instead of 6. And then Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 6:30, leading into the 8 o'clock game. Tom will be on location. You can go meet him in person. Maybe even get a picture with him. He's going to be at the Ice House in the Ice District Plaza there. You know where the old Greyhound station used to be? Tom's going to be where the bus to Vancouver used to park.
Wow.
I guess.
You're transported
Very,
20
very
years ago.
specific,
It would
yeah.
look quite different. Reid, we had a bit of a challenge come in here.
Oh, good.
This comes in from our good friend Seal, listener of the show.
Yes.
Can the Oilers come back in the series? I faced a similar challenge after I released Kiss from a Rose, and critics wondered if I could come out with an even bigger hit single. Obviously, I responded to the challenge with all those follow-up songs that the world enjoyed. The hashtag Seal Challenge. If you could name even one of them, then the Oilers will come back. From Seal.
Another song on top of Kiss from a Rose.
There's only one I can think of.
What about the Batman one?
That's Kiss from a Rose.
Oh. Thanks for listening, everybody.
What about, he did Fly Like an Eagle? The Steve Miller Band cover.
He did a cover.
Yeah.
All right.
That was a hit.
Do I know any other Seal songs? So Kiss from a Rose was from Batman Forever, right? With Kilmer and Kidman and Carey. And Schwarzenegger. Was he in that one? No, he was in Batman and Robin, I think.
You're talking to a person that does not watch many movies. Sorry.
My apologies. All right, so Seal is saying to create good mojo for the Oilers.
Yes, we need to name
Seal songs.
Some of his greatest
besides
hits.
Kiss from a Rose.
Aside from Kiss from a Rose.
Well, anybody could put in anything, and someone could say there's a song called I Love Matt.
Just let's get the mojo going.
Let's get the mojo going.
Fly Like an Eagle. There's my answer.
Build the mojo. All right.
I actually didn't mind the Fly Like an Eagle rendition from Seal.
And keep clicking away. Again, in the YouTube stream, we need 10 more thumbs to get to double word of the day, Terry, 155. We still have a shot at 200. Everybody just has to really rally. Don't be lazy with the thumbs. Get in there and click away. Crazy? Did Seal have a song called Crazy? According to C-Run?
There's two.
I don't know if C-Run is sure about it because C-Run put a question mark after it.
I'm not Googling it. I don't want to.
People will correct ourselves.
I don't want to screw with
themselves.
With the mojo.
If you are texting us this afternoon at 780-218-9999, you are using the afternoon inbox presented by River Cree Resort and Casino, featuring Italia Restaurant, home of the $6.99 brunch special from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sundays. You can email reid@edmontonsportstalk.com, jay@edmontonsportstalk.com. We have a limerick here from VR Montenegro. I said a couple days ago, what does the VR stand for? He says, today it stands for Viva Reid Montenegro. I'm very flattered.
Well, it is the Readathon.
A great feat, although he thinks it's quite dumb. Touch 'em all, Riedrich. You're our day-long chum. Reid the bookbinder gives the reminder to subscribe and click, 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 thumb, thumb, thumb.
Well done.
That's pretty good from VR Montenegro. Wow. That's cool. 1-0 Florida, 4:44. They lead Tampa Bay. 4:44 left in the first period. Can we find the Habs game?
Yes.
I'm putting you on the spot here.
Crazy is one of the biggest songs from Seal's
or not the Habs game, the Leafs game.
And Fly Like an Eagle's on the Michael Jordan version of Space Jam.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I never watched Space Jam. I apologize.
Don't be hard on yourself.
And when I said Habs game, I meant Leafs game. I get those teams confused all the time. That'd be terrible. Toronto, Ottawa, game 3. That is going to be my game of the night for Play More Tables and Games. From ping pong and pool tables to darts and dome hockey, plus all the classic arcade action you could ask for. Visit Canada's Game Room experts, locations in Edmonton and Calgary, or online at playmoregames.ca. I recommended you place a $5 bet on this game for Ottawa to win, even though I have not done that myself. That's pretty lame, eh?
No.
I didn't even go in myself and do it. But that's my game of the night. Let's see if Ottawa can get back in it. I think they've been at times okay. Well, they probably could have won game 2. They did outplay Toronto for significant portions, and they did get the game into overtime. But Battle of Ontario going on, so that will be my game of the night. Lyndon Slewage performing the anthem. He's been doing that a while. I think.
Looks like a serious anthem singer.
He does.
Got the glove on and everything.
No harmonica there.
No. He'd get kicked out. My game of the night is not really a game. It's the NFL draft, which kicks off in 50 minutes. It's being held in Green Bay. I don't know if you've heard of Green Bay, Reid. It's in the state of Wisconsin.
Oh, Green Bay's hosting it this year?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I just, aside from the draft, and look, it's a draft. Who knows? You don't know. Football's tough. Hockey's, but with the NFL draft, pretty much the first rounders are bona fide. They're playing.
Right.
I want to see, it looks like Tennessee is stuck on taking Cam Ward to solidify their quarterback position. The jury's out for me. I want to see if Cleveland steps up and takes Travis Hunter. There's 2 people that intrigue me in this draft that'll be, top 10 draft picks, and that's Travis Hunter and Ashton Genty from Boise State, running back. They're saying he could fall to Jacksonville, which I think would be a great fit. And I want to see how far Shedeur Sanders falls. I'm on the Shedeur Sanders fall watch.
What position is he?
He's a quarterback.
For Colorado?
Yeah.
Deion's kid?
Yeah. Average at best quarterback. And they put his number up in the stadium. Almost like they retired Shedeur Sanders number 2. It's in the stadium. He is not a great quarterback. He's not at all. Like, I don't know.
Didn't they win some game on a Hail Mary this year?
Yeah, maybe. But they, I think they're like 600
just
under
trying to
Deion
remember
Sanders in the revitalization project. He's not that great. It's just his dad's name. So we'll see. I just like the it's a party. Like, they do it. They do a good job of it. The NHL or the NFL does a great job of their draft. Want to see that, who's coming out to present the pick. There's often some former players, celebrities.
An alum?
An alum. Yes. So that's my game of the night for Play More Tables and Games.
Play more tables and games.
There it is. I have with the playoffs going on. I have the NFL draft is. Have fun, everybody.
It's not even in your basement.
No,
it's out on the street.
Yeah, like to say it's
a
certainly
stray
not
kitty
on
cat.
my radar. Yeah,
it's a stray kitty cat in the downtown slums of Edmonton.
Yeah, I don't live in a slum.
I didn't say you did.
Oh, okay.
That's how far away the NFL draft is on
right.
your radar.
Okay, fair enough.
No. You live in the posh area.
Well, I wouldn't say that either.
Oh, there'll be some.
It's a nice area.
It's a nice area. It's a beautiful house. I'd love to have a sleepover.
Yeah, you weren't even in it.
Yeah, I saw it.
Saw the exterior. Well, I wasn't in your house, though. I was on your property.
You showed me a tour of your house.
Oh, I should just show you a video tour that I made for my cousins when I moved in a couple of years ago.
It's beautiful. I love it.
I'd have Coop the Corgi over.
Oh, cool.
You?
Yeah, well, I'll start with Cooper, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Jim Hiller, head coach of the Los Angeles Kings, asked if being up 2-0 in the series changes the team's mindset.
It's so passionate from game to game. I would say that the score in the series has a bigger effect on everybody outside, media driven, than the players. Of course, we're fully aware what the series is at, but man, you're just fighting to win the next game. And I don't care if the team's up 3-0 down. It doesn't matter, guys. Fight to win that hockey game. If you don't fight to win that individual hockey game, you're going to have a tough time winning it.
Yeah, I think what he's saying is once the game starts, Philip Deneau and Leon Draisaitl don't go in the corner, and Deneau's thinking, we're up 2-0, and Leon's thinking, oh my God, we're down 2-0. They're trying to win that battle. They're trying to win that individual game. And that's why my task for the Oilers is win a game.
Yeah.
And then see what happens in the next one. Good answer, I think, there from Hiller. Brett Kulak, Oilers defenseman, asked if the Kings are doing anything different 5v5 than maybe they did in past seasons.
No, I don't think so. I think it's. I think it always comes back to us and just doing a better job of us not forcing things. And I think we're turning over too many pucks right now, which that just sways momentum in a game if it doesn't lead to a goal right away. It's it kind of gives them momentum and lets them play in the ozone or whatever, and just makes life easy on them. So I think if we simplify things a little more and just get back to putting pucks in and getting pucks back in the forecheck and just start slowly building some momentum from that.
Well, I mean, look, the Oilers know what they're doing wrong. Leon Draisaitl wasn't freaking out. He was very calm in his postgame last night. It's kind of the theme for the Oilers. We're turning the puck over. We're giving up too many chances. We got to create a little bit more. I guess the question is this roster good enough to do it?
Yeah.
Well,
and let's give credit where it's due. The Vegas team defense has been stifling.
The Kings,
the Kings team defense has been stifling much of what the Oilers are trying to do.
Yes.
So it's a tale of two stories. I mean, Vegas has been playing. Vegas, why am I doing this? The Kings have been playing.
You're obsessed with the Golden Knights.
The Kings have been playing lights out, and the Oilers have been playing,
in the dark.
The separation is about as vast as it can be.
Yeah.
So if the Oilers play X amount better and the Kings come down to earth a bit, well, maybe you can see a common ground, and the Oilers can take advantage of that and exploit it. But the Kings could just continue to play the way they are. And that's not going to be pretty, I don't think.
Knobloch speaking this morning as well. Just some general thoughts here.
Well, we're very optimistic going back to Edmonton, playing in front of our fans. Getting LA to play on the road. Our building is something we feel more comfortable with playing at home anytime. But there's things that we can still improve. Going forward, we're spending a lot of time in the offensive zone. Forward check's been good, getting them to turn over pucks, but now it's the next play, and they're a patient team, and they're okay with sitting back and waiting for us to lose focus or lose patience, and then them taking advantage of it. So we got to stick with it and have the mentality of winning a 1-0 or 2-1 game, and to do that, we'll also have to have fewer kills too.
Well, that's another thing. You can make the penalty kill better by not being shorthanded so much. I mean, the Oilers. I've been complaining about the I've been complaining about the refereeing in general in the playoffs. There's been a couple infractions that I couldn't believe the Oilers got away with, like blatant slashes and trips, and then there's been other penalties. I'm like, why is that a penalty compared to that? You did a great job with the video a couple days ago with Gallagher getting smoked in the face with a cross check, and the ref's like, battle, just two guys battling, so one guy got smoked in the mouth, big deal. But yeah, don't be shorthanded as much. Again, don't turn the puck over. All these types
there's
of things.
There's a list of don'ts.
Do you think the Oilers get a boost from the home crowd, or that it just still comes down to how the Oilers play?
No. I can't imagine how they wouldn't. That place will be rocking tomorrow night. That's a loud atmosphere. It's comfort. It's the comfort of your own locker room. It's the comfort of walking down the tunnel that leads you to the ice. It's the comfort of your own home bench. And add into that the crowd going absolutely nuts when former Bev Facey Falcon alum Robert Clark sings the national anthem, which I'm sure they will. I certainly hope they don't screw that up.
They don't have harmonicas.
Please, God, no. Then, yeah, the vibes are going to be high, but they need to capitalize on it, Reid. I cannot stress this enough. Get on them fast. Get on them fast and don't let off the gas. They came out fast yesterday. They did. They really did.
Decent. Yeah, well, that first shift was good.
It was great. It was exactly what we talked about.
One of the best shifts in the game.
And then, right? But I mean, coming out of the period 1-0, hey, that's okay. Oilers fans will take that. Obviously, didn't prove to end that way. But
right.
Yeah, I think tomorrow that'll be a huge. I don't see how it can. Do you? I mean, you're there every game.
I think the crowd will be loud. I think people, who go to the game are making the most of it. They're joyous. I mean, they probably spent a lot of money to be there, so you might as well make noise and try to be involved. But I do think it's a crowd that could be easily deflated.
Sure.
If LA gets an early lead again or the Oilers make some mistakes, right? I got the sense in the Stanley Cup final last year, they came back 2-0. They blew game 3, and I think it was a crowd that was just saying, "Hey, we're here. Like we're not, let's still try and get this done." I think if it's 2-0 LA after the first period or 12 minutes in, I fear it might be a crowd that's going to be like, "Holy crap, wasted season. We're going to get swept." Like I think that unfortunately that one could seep in quite quickly. I hate to be negative like that, but
well, then it would.
This series is teetering on disaster. Let's be honest.
It is, but would it be fair to say also that if the Oilers lose tomorrow night, fair to say the series is over? It's not 100%.
Yeah, the 3-0 comeback is highly unlikely.
Right. Okay. So is it fair to say that the Oilers need to score first to try and save this series tomorrow?
That would help,
right?
Well, it would help.
Let's put it in bold. Let's caps lock this thing and put it in bold.
Yeah.
Maybe a heavy underline. Heck, we could even italicize it. We could. Oilers score first goal, save series. Is that? Can we print that?
No,
can we send that to print?
They still got to play the entire game. The first goal won't be enough. Like they can't score the first goal and think it. But I think to me what you're saying is let's at least have the Kings play under pressure, or have the Kings be the team saying like, "Oh, geez, we can't give up the next one." Like LA, with the exception of the end of game 1. Never in this series has been, "Oh my God, we can't give up the next one." Now, I guess you could say game 5, they were under quite a bit of stress because they blew a lead, but then the Oilers make a mistake and they score.
Oilers come out to 3-goal first period.
That would be great. That would help. The LA Kings had a .476 road points percentage, tied them for 18th in the NHL with a bunch of teams. They were 17, 19, and 5 on the road. I know I can't remember who it was. Somebody posted on one of my other appearances on the station today. The LA Kings did have the worst road record of the 16 teams in the playoffs in the regular season. So take that for what it's worth. Sometimes these trends get reversed in the playoffs, but I think we should mention that. We talked about how great their road record was. I think it's fair to point out, if we're going to tell the whole story, that that's
part of it.
Part of their journey is they were excellent at home and quite mediocre, or even below mediocre on the road. Fair to tell that story. We're going to talk about the Nuge. Well, a couple of former Red Deer Rebels, the Nuge and Darcy Kemper, when we bring you the afternoon debate after Zachary Kubish.
At the end of 20 minutes, Tampa Bay trails 1-0 to the Panthers in Game 2, with the Lightning falling short in the opener by a score of 6-2. And there's a few Game 3 matchups. The Sens and Leafs are underway scoreless. 5 minutes into the first period, Toronto leading the series 2-0 before the Jets look to go up 3-0 over the Blues. And the Knights in wild face-off, that series is locked at 1-1. From Edmonton, Oil Kings head coach Luke Pierce will not have his contract be renewed after the team announced that they will be moving on. He's been the head coach of the team since the 2022-23 season. On the court, there's a slate of Game 3s right now. The Knicks are up 21-11 over the Pistons with the series even. Later, the Clippers and Nuggets throw down with the series locked at 1 apiece, while OKC holds the Grizzlies 2-0. Baseball has 2 games live, including the Nationals having the only run in their game against the Orioles in the bottom of the second inning. And the NFL draft is tonight, the Titans holding the first overall pick. This sports update is brought to you by Windsor Plywood Leduc. Locally owned and operated, serving Leduc and surrounding area since '93. They have doors, flooring, baseboards, and of course, they got plywood. Go see the knowledgeable staff today at Windsor Plywood Leduc. The afternoon debate brings us back after a brief intermission. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you in the loop.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric.
Ken Holland built a Stanley Cup contender that Jeff Jackson tore down in 10 months, but they've catered to Connor. If you don't like the way management is run, maybe he shouldn't have probably given a thumbs up on Jeff Jackson. Connor McDavid leaving this organization after what they've done to cater to him would be one of the weakest moves of all time.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric, presented by South Fort Chevrolet. Weekday mornings 6 to 9, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Strike up some fun at the Banquet Bar. Bowling, drinks, and a great time with friends where the good times roll. Whether you're here to bowl or just hang out, the Banquet Bar is your go-to spot. Get real, play hard at the Banquet.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Your home for great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino.
My mother used to let us not lock the doors. She's like, if you're locking the doors inside of the house, it means you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. Yeah, that's why we lock the doors.
Host of the Bad Friends and Whiskey Ginger podcast, don't miss Andrew Santino, Freeze Peach, live at the River Cree May 22nd.
Michael, what are you doing? We have locks on the outside of the house to keep criminals from coming inside. There's no criminals inside of this house. Yes, there are, Karen.
Get your tickets at rivercreeresort.com. Excitement, bet on it.
And there they go to Sentinel Storage. The snowblower and winter gear goes in. They shoot, we store.
Need extra space? Store your winter gear with Sentinel Storage and win extra space at home. Try 4 weeks free at sentinelstorage.ca. Proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
No score, 9 minutes into the first period between Toronto and Ottawa. We have that game on the ESTV in our studio here. We are in the Banquet studio. Make your birthday epic at the Banquet Bar. Bowling, drinks, and a vibe you won't forget. Book your party now at thebanquetbar.com. Okay, Oilers tomorrow at 8 against the Los Angeles Kings. Sunday's game, remember, is at 7:30. 7:30 for Sunday's game as the Oilers tried to, let's start with one win. Oh, did Ottawa just... Oh, no, that was a chance that didn't go in. My mistake. I thought I saw people cheering as I looked up.
You sure you didn't throw something down on this game?
I didn't. I should have. I told people to do it, and I didn't do it myself.
What the heck was that? Tackled William Nylander.
Did Nylander get to... Did Ottawa get a penalty?
I don't know. Looks like they're playing football out there.
Oh, all right. That's very good, Jay. Okay, let's just fire one more clip here. Knobloch, head coach of the Oilers, on giving up too many chances.
You know, we spend very little time on our defensive zone coverage. We are, when it is you typically think about your system, your coverage when they have the puck, but it plays just off of breakouts, whether we turn it off, we make a bad pass. There's been several of those, game 1 and game 2. And then, so it's not necessarily the coverage, it's the just recovering after a change of possession where we're getting on the wrong side, and we got to be able to protect the dangerous ice, because obviously that's the most important.
All right. Yeah, well, the Oilers are giving the puck away too much. They're not protecting the scoring area enough. They're not getting a clutch save when they need it, and a big reason they are down 2-0 in this series. As we transition into the afternoon debate presented by the Edmonton Garrison Memorial Golf Club. Early bird golf memberships now on sale at Edmonton Garrison Memorial Golf Club. Discounts for seniors and first responders, plus special rates for Sturgeon County residents. Enjoy GPS carts and awesome driving range deals. Inside, kick back and enjoy a pint and or a pound of wings in their full bar and restaurant. For more info, visit EGMgolf.com. Okay. Do you want to do Nuge or do you want to do the text you got? Because you told me you wanted to read me something that I haven't seen.
I wanted to get to this text that came in on the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox from Brandon Not Manning. Oilers have not been playing blue-collar hockey and making Kemper work to see the puck. Stop playing from the perimeter. Balance the lines on the road. Last change allows the Kings to have favorable matchups. Chip and chase to gain zone will help eliminate turnovers at the blue line. Comes in from Brandon Not Manning. What are your thoughts on that, Reid?
Well, yes, the Oilers are not getting to the scoring area. We've talked about that. And I think that this has been, I mean, it's not easy to win a hockey game. It's not easy to play goal in the NHL. But in that context, this has been a relatively easy series for Darcy Kuemper. He has not been peppered with shots. He has not had butts in his face. He has not been harassed in his crease. He has not been poked at after whistles. He was under duress in the third period, mostly by chances created by Connor McDavid. And quite frankly, he didn't make a big save that I can remember. Maybe the one on Arvidsson, which wasn't a great shot. And even that one, he was like, where is it? I thought yesterday, once again, I even though the Oilers, outshot the Kings in the first period, Jim Hiller referenced it. The Oilers were on the perimeter. The Kings were taking away the interior of the ice. I think, and I'll put this out there for the afternoon debate, I think the Oilers could get to Kuemper and exploit him if they could get through the LA defense. That's a lot easier said than done. I'm not impressed by Kuemper in this series, quite frankly. And I'd like to see the Oilers make him work a little harder. And if he comes out and can stop, 34 of 36 one night, then I'm like, okay, he won the game for the Kings. But the Kings are not winning the games because of their goaltending. I mean, I think Kuemper has looked quite ordinary in this series. And that's frustrating that the Oilers have goaltending that looks below ordinary, and that also the Oilers offensively have not tested Kuemper. I mean, they had, 8 shots in the first 31 minutes of game one? Both second periods, it took them around half the period to get a shot, both nights. So, you're not even making him field a fluffy shot from center and catch it. And then, when you are in the offensive zone, you're not getting a high quality of chance, and you're not in his way, and all those types of things. I know Kuemper had a very good season. I do think he is a good NHL goaltender. I think he had great stats this season, more because of his team defense than great goaltending. I think Connor Hellebuyck had great stats, partially because of his defense, but partially because he's a great goaltender this year specifically. I think Kuemper's stats are a product of the play of the team in front of him.
Well, look no further than the third period of game one.
Right.
The Kings were on their heels. McDavid was doing McDavid things. And boom, that game changed. The game-tying goal. I mean, we talked about it a lot. That was an awful goal.
Yeah.
But the team in front of Darcy Kuemper is much more sound defensively. 100%. You cannot deny that. So that's why I'm saying if you can close that gap a bit, Reid, and humanize the LA Kings,
right?
They put on jeans one leg at a time too. That kind of attitude.
Right.
Maybe that's going to be enough. Because if you get it close, then that's when you can exploit them with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl as two of the top players in the world.
Right.
But when it's at such a gap, you just look like you're trying constantly, and you're saying, "Here, Connor, take the puck and go. You do it. We'll watch.
Yeah.
Go, Connor." It just doesn't work. He can't take on the team on his own. But they're on their heels? Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see a game in which the Oilers have, more grade A chances and see how Kuemper holds up to that. I mean, he how many, it's like I said earlier, how many self-inflicted wounds do the Kings have? How many grade A mistakes have they made? Probably none. And then as a result, their goaltender doesn't have to face a lot of high danger chances. Like the Oilers have had to really work for their goals, and the Kings are talented. They've worked for some of their goals, but they've also had more grade A chances handed to them by Edmonton.
Well, and speaking of goals, I mean, working for goals, that Arvidsson goal was something else. Did you see the overhead camera view of him getting abused?
And I remember thinking when that puck first went into the zone about 3 or 4 seconds before they scored, because Arvidsson at times has had this weird habit where he'll drift away from the net to look for a one-timer, and sometimes it's like, dude, let Leon worry about that. Get in there and look for a rebound or a tip. And I thought I saw him go to the front of the net and stop, and I thought, I hope he stays there. And then 3 seconds later, Kulak got the shot, and in it goes, and Arvidsson made a nice tip. So the Oilers got to be a little more determined. It's my buddy Rob Brown always said it hurts to score goals in the NHL. You know, most guys can't score from distance. They got to be in tight mucking around. So now, and again, the Kings are good at defending that area, but test Kemper, make life a little more miserable for him.
Where do you see, I mean, this is a player we've talked about, after game one, certainly, and throughout the season, to be honest. For the afternoon debate for Edmonton Garrison, where do you see RNH, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, shaking out here?
I think you got to get him out of the middle.
So take him out of center.
He's been ineffective in this series
because he did have splashes of brilliance at center. That's what got him going.
Yes,
late in the season. It's clearly not working right now. So take him out of center, but where then do you put him? Do you reinsert him on the top line and get that top line going, and at the same time taking away the nuclear option?
I'd put that line back together. I put McDavid with Nugent Hopkins and Hyman. I think there's a little bit of hope here. You got to hope that some things can be rekindled. I think that's a relatively good thing to go to. I mean, Nugent Hopkins isn't cutting it at center in this series, so put him with McDavid and Hyman. Then maybe you put Draisaitl with Kane and Perry, or with Kane and Arvidsson, and then you round out the bottom six from there.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the lines tomorrow.
Right.
It will. I mean, you said Perry, Draisaitl, and Kane on the second line?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. That would be interesting. I mean, having Perry and Kane on the same line, maybe that would be something, the physical play. Because I do think for a guy that hasn't played in 10 months, Evander Kane did okay last night.
He did okay.
He didn't look out of place, certainly.
Yeah, I mean, you could criticize the penalty, but also, he was probably arguing with a guy who was falling down anyway. He tried to deliver some hits. He wasn't much of a presence in the offensive zone, but you hope maybe he's more comfortable. But this is the problem with the Oilers. There are a lot of things where we're saying we're hoping, right? As opposed to, what, they're doing that. They're at 95%. They just got to find that final 5%. I think there's a lot of things where we're saying they're at about 35% of where they need to be, and they got to get up to 85 or 90. But I think that for Nugent Hopkins, take him out of the middle, put that line back together with Nugent Hopkins and Hyman, probably Draisaitl, Kane, and somebody, I guess either Arvidsson or Perry, and then you round it out from there. But yeah, I mean, it's tough because nobody's even though Draisaitl even though he has a couple of goals, I wouldn't say he's been awesome. Even in that third period in game one where they had the comeback, that was still mostly McDavid. I wouldn't say it was him and Draisaitl together. So this is the problem. I mean, you got McDavid, despite some of the errors he's made, still pretty much playing like himself. Perry had a good game one. At least Janmark is mucking it up. And then who else is really doing what they're doing?
Jeff Skinner. Does he get healthy scratched again?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Right? I mean, what about Trent Frederick? Is his mobility an issue right now? It certainly would appear as though it is.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think Jeff Skinner might draw in? And then you gotta dance with this lineup a bit more. But do you put Skinner on that second line with Draisaitl and Kane?
No, he probably won't do that.
So then he'd be on the fourth line.
If in at all.
If in at all.
Okay, here's and maybe this is look. We're at the point here where it's like we're just grasping at straws almost. Do you go back to as much as you can from last season? McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, and Hyman.
Well,
Henrique, Janmark, and Brown as your third or fourth line. Then Frederick plays center.
He can, yes. That might be the difference, right? Reid, we're one away from our show goal of having Sammy Hagar coming on and saying, "Hey guys, we made it to 155." Yeah. How fast can we get there?
We can get a couple more. We can get a couple more clicks here. The afternoon debate for Edmonton Garrison, but yeah, I would put Nugent Hopkins on McDavid's wing. I didn't think much about the Jeff Skinner question today.
Hey, it's okay. You were taking part in a readathon.
Well, I should have thought about it more, apparently.
Well, no, we'll get to it tomorrow. I mean,
we'll know from the morning skate. There'll be a morning skate tomorrow. I guess we'll see where he lines up. But
that going to be optional?
Well, they're probably always going to be optional. I would guess, though, it's pretty well attended since they didn't skate today.
And they're down 2-0.
They're down 2-0. Yeah, you got to show that you're taking it seriously. I would think it'll be the same 6 defensemen. Like if Stetcher is ready to go, do you put him in? At least Klingberg looked competent last night.
Okay, touche. You one-upped me. I didn't give Stetcher a lick of thought today. That would be...
But I don't know if he goes in.
Well, Klingberg's the answer.
Unless you take Emberson out. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But I wouldn't take Klingberg out. I mean, at least he got the puck up the ice and had some good offensive vision. I don't think he was a liability defensively. I do think Kulak and Nurse have been fine. I know Nurse was involved in a couple goals against, but I still think that they've been decent in this series. I mean, Bouchard's been Bouchard, unfortunately. I mean, as I've often said, when some nights Bouchard gives both teams an equal chance of winning, which isn't great. Wallman's been at the center of a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's been great, as good as you would like defensively anyway. There's a lot of holes. There's a lot of guys who maybe either aren't playing to potential or you're maybe now wondering how good are they really. I mean, Frederick doesn't look like a good acquisition. Quite frankly, I'm not sure if Wallman looks like a good acquisition at this point. I know he's still under contract for next year.
Reid, nobody on the team looks like a good acquisition right now.
Right now. That's true.
You know, let's be honest here. Nobody looks involved, engaged.
I have a feeling that they're not going to play Jeff Skinner.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right. 780-218-9999 is how you text the afternoon inbox, presented by River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the Kitchen Restaurant. All you can eat surf and turf for just $59.99 every Friday from 4 to 10 p.m. Coob's going to update the scoreboard. We got a double word of the day coming up. It's Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
On the ice, there's 4 games. Right now, the Panthers and Lightning are early in the second. Florida up 1-0 in the game and the series, with Toronto looking to take a 3-0 series lead over the Senators. That one is just about 5 minutes. Has about 5 minutes left in the first. Well, the Golden Knights and Wild meet later tonight in Game 3. That one's tied at 1 apiece. And the Oil Kings have announced that they will not be renewing head coach Luke Pierce's contract, with Pierce being the head coach of the team since the 2022-23 season. Basketball sees a few Game 3s of their own, having New York leading Detroit 30-27 at the end of the first quarter. That series is tied at 1 apiece before the Grizzlies and Thunder tip off Memphis winless in their series, while the Nuggets battle the Clippers with the series locked at 1-1. In baseball, there's 2 games live. Washington has the only run in their game against Baltimore in the bottom of the 4th inning, while in the top of the 8th, Kansas City has a 4-run lead over Colorado. I'm Zachary Kubish for your sports update. The final segment of the Reid Wilkins Show brings us back on the other side of the break.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a ninja fighting off evil samurai.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
Want to remind you, if you want to ski, you can still do it. Our friends at Marmot Basin, go to skimarmot.com to check out all their great deals. 4 lift tickets for the family for only $329 at skimarmot.com. Great deal, only available online. They are open until, what are we doing here? Early May?
May 4th. Let me double check.
Through the first weekend of May, basically. Oh my God, we got a band coming.
Open until May 4th. Great snow. Best time to hit the slopes is between 10:30 and 3 o'clock. And get this, season pass holders from any other ski area get 50% off their lift tickets through the end of the season.
Oh, nice.
So if you are you have a lift ticket or pass to Sunshine, you can get 50% off your lift tickets at Marmot.
And just as we're discussing this, somebody in the Nasty Chat going by the handle Ski Guy, I don't think I've seen that handle before, says, click, 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 you must click. Yes, click the thumbs up on YouTube. We are into the 160s, so a nice rally to get to double word of the day territory, which we're going to do in a couple of minutes. And I have not spelled a word incorrectly this week in word of the day, so I'm excited to see if I can keep that streak going. But let's see how high we can go here. Don't let off the gas just because we've reached our plateau. Travel day for the Oilers and the Kings. There were media availabilities this morning. Kings head coach Jim Hiller was asked if he rewatched the game last night and saw anything different.
No, it was pretty similar. You know, they had a lot of pressure on us early, I thought, in the first period. Forechecked us, had some time in our zone, but we kept them on the outside for the most part. You know, it felt during the time maybe they had a little more pressure on us than when you go back and you review it and you go, yeah, they were in there, but they didn't have a lot of stuff in the interior.
So how do you think you handled McDavid-Draisaitl combo specifically?
I mean, you know, I think I would just say this. Our team's doing a really good job. So I don't want to single those two out in particular. I think our team's doing a pretty good job defensively without the puck. And we'll have to be all that and more the next game. We can't be satisfied, but we've done a good job.
Yeah, it was interesting how he didn't want to just get it. I don't think he just wants to make it all about the defending those two guys, though I think that's a big part of their focus. Chris Knobloch was asked if he's contemplating changing the starting goalie for the Oilers tomorrow.
Well, we knew throughout the series, if we're fortunate enough to play through June, that most likely we're going to make a switch at some time. But we haven't made a decision as of now. Unfortunate for Skinner, because I don't think any of those goals are. He's in a difficult situation. I don't think there's the amount of chances are low, the shots. But the quality of shots, chances were high. And that's not easy for the goaltender. You can have some of those once in a while, but just too many. So it's just unfortunate for him. But that's something we'll have to decide.
All right. We'll see that decision, I suppose, at the morning skate by whoever goes in the starter's net. So whoever goalie goes in the home team, the home team net, the net they're going to defend in the first period. That's who is usually the starter, almost always the starter. All right, 8 o'clock game tomorrow, 6:30 here on EST, the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show, live from the Ice House. Tom Gazzola is going to be there. All right, let's do it.
The word of the day with Reid and Jay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
What do they got to say?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you.
Let's find out.
English, do you speak it? Then you know what I'm saying.
Let's go, girls.
All right, so if you're new to this, Jay gives me a couple of words, and I have to spell it and come up with the definition. On Monday, I did both words perfectly. I knew how to spell them, and I knew both definitions, or I figured them out. I have not spelled a word wrong out of the 6 you've given me this week. Good streak. The definitions I didn't do as well the last 2 days. So let's see what we can do.
Here's to hoping. The first...
Sorry, I just like playing that.
Excuse me, Paul. Trying to do a word of the day here, bro. The first word of the day, ostensible.
Ostensible. Ostensible.
Ostensible.
O-S-T-E-N-S-I-B-L-E. I believe, I got to think about this. I believe ostensible means sort of perhaps something that may not exist in title, but exists in reality or in practicality. Like, I think the word, because I know ostensibly is a word, and I think the way to use it would be, with Coach Wilkins out of the country, offensive coordinator Jason Milne was ostensibly the coach of the EST football team. Yes! I really had to.
I'm going to give it to you.
Oh, wow. Generous.
Ostensible is used to describe something that seems or is said to be true or real, but is possibly not true or real. In other words, it is plausible rather than true or real.
Okay, I don't think I wouldn't give myself a full point, but I think I'd give myself half a point.
1.5 out of 2.
So it's something that is seen to be true or real, but may or may not be.
The ostensible purpose of a filibuster is to extend debate, but in reality, it is used to delay or prevent action.
Oh, right. That's a good point.
Okay?
Yeah.
1.5 out of 2 for the first word of the day.
Okay.
The second word of the day, womble.
Oh, womble.
Womble.
Well, I probably shouldn't overthink this one.
Yeah, maybe.
W-O-M-B-L-E. Oh, the streak ends at 7.
You want to take another?
You suck.
Womble?
Womble. You had it all right, except for one letter.
W-A-M-B-L-E. All right, so my streak ends. I don't know this word. Emperor, quit mocking me.
Is that Emperor Palpatine?
That's Emperor Palpatine.
Palpatine.
Yes.
Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Wamble. W-A-M-B-L-E. I can't even
The
think.
definition sounds like the word. Just saying.
Wamble. Like, well, when I think of, it almost sounds like waffle or wobbly, but I don't think it's the same thing. Okay, I'll say to fluctuate. It doesn't mean that. Okay.
To wamble. To wamble is to move unsteadily.
Oh, really? Okay.
That is to wamble.
So you could be wobbly and wombling at the same time.
It sounds kind of similar to the definition.
Well, it didn't do very well today. My spelling streak ended.
Well, 3.5 out of 4. And I kind of 2.5 out of 4.
The weird thing is I kind of understood what ostensible meant. But I didn't explain it, but Womble got me.
Reid, I have goof ups for the first time in a long time. We've been delivering perfect shows for the last 8 months.
For several months.
But I said optimistics instead of optimists. And Grumpy Cat let me know in the River Cree inbox that I said former alum Robert Clark. It should have just stated alum.
Oh yeah, because if you're a former
alum, you're actually
kicked
nothing.
out of the alumni.
Yeah. So thank you for the clarification, Grumpy Cat.
That's a good point.
Yep.
Appreciate that, Grumpy Cat.
I need all the help I can get.
All right. I know it's a grumpy time in oil country. Hopefully we made you a little less grumpy with our show. We do like to have a good time, but break things down as cleanly as we can as well. So our live programming will resume at 6 a.m. with the Nielsen Show. We had Marty Biron on the show today. We had CFL Commissioner Stewart Johnston as well. Really good conversation there. On behalf of Zachary Kubish and the glue guy, Jason Milne, I'm Reid. Have a great evening.